WMBA 99.3 FM and BeaverCountyRadio.com. And now, here is the host of the show, Eddy Crow.
Hey, good morning. It's Frank Sparks. I'm not Eddy Crow, but I'm here today, and I'm going to be hanging out and just helping out this morning with none other than, as I call her, Miss New Brighton, Miss Valery McElvy. Good morning. It's good to see you this morning.
I'm so excited.
I can tell. You're ready to get going, huh?
Yes.
All right. Well, we've got a lot of different things that are going on today. So let's talk a little bit about what all Miss Val's going to talk about today. So tell us.
Well, first of all, good Wednesday morning to you. And before we start, I got to shout out a congratulations to the radio station for 75 years for broadcasting. And I want to thank WBVP, WNBA for allowing me to host today's Teleforum. I'm humbled. Now, many of you know me from Spotlight on Seniors that airs every Sunday at 11 a.m. That show is the brainchild of the Beaver County Office on Aging. Some of you may even recognize my voice. I was in Walmart one day, and I was chatting, chewing the fat with the checkout girl, and I'm laughing. 3 people back, this guy raises his hand and says, "Hey, are you the lady on WBVP?" I said, "Oh, my goodness." Then I started laughing. He said, "Yeah, you're the one. You're the one."
You got to make it more fun. And I always tell, when they say it to me, I'm like, "Nah, I have no idea what you're talking about."
No, it's not. So, anyway, to stay with the theme of the Beaver County Office on Aging show I host, I thought it'd be humorous to look at aging. I know what you're saying. What is humorous about getting old? Well, I'm going to try to get you to that point today, and I'm going to have you laughing. Recently, and keep in mind, this is not my New Year's resolution, just me, I have tried to focus on creating for myself a happier, more meaningful, purpose-filled life. My kids are grown. Some of my grandkids are grown. Well, they think they're grown. I don't want to speak out of turn. And that's a whole nother show. My husband's retired. No bill collectors, no mortgage, no car payment. So in addition to exploring ways to create the most positive life possible for myself and others, I've begun including ideas of how I or we all can age well and be happy about it. So I went in search of quotes that I could find on this subject. Frank Lloyd Wright said, "The longer I live, the more beautiful life becomes." Isn't that so spiritual? That's that's spiritual. Every year should teach you something valuable. Whether you get the lesson is up to you. Every year brings you closer to expressing your whole and healed self. That's Oprah Winfrey. I mean, those are profound. I like this one, though. Age is no barrier. It's a limitation you put on your mind. Jackie Joyner. I put no limitations. There's none. No filter, no limitations.
Really? There's no filter?
No filter.
Oh, my.
No, there's no filter.
I can't believe that.
I'm going to be good on today's show, though.
I can't believe that you don't have a filter.
I've been told you. You don't stop laughing when you grow old. You grow old when you stop laughing. And that was George Bernard Shaw.
Amen.
To find joy in work is to discover the fountain of youth, and that was Pearl Buck. And believe me, everything I do, Frank, I enjoy. I enjoy it immensely, or I'm not doing it. Now, the other thing is, getting old is like climbing a mountain. You get a little out of breath, but the view is much better. Ingrid Bergman said that. But now, steps. When I climb steps, I can't wait to get to the top of the steps, you know? That's my mountain. And that's how getting old makes me feel, climbing those steps or the mountain, either one.
Here you got to do both.
Yeah, got to do both, yes. None are so old as those who have outlived enthusiasm. Henry Thoreau. That's my motto. Grow old along with me, the best is yet to be. That's Robert Browning. And I love this George Burns. You can't help getting old, but you don't have to. You can't help getting older, but you don't have to get old. Okay? And in the end, it's not the years in life that count. It's the life in your years. Abraham Lincoln. Count your age by friends, not years. Count your life by smiles, not tears. John Lennon. Just bringing a tear to your eye? No.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. We don't grow older. We grow riper.
It just reminds me of you the whole way through.
Does that what it reminds you? Okay. We don't grow older. We grow riper. Pablo Picasso. Now, I struggle with this one because I started out like a firm grape. Now I'm a shriveled raisin. What's wrong with that ripe? I'm not understanding. So, which is your favorite? I don't know about you, but just sharing these quotes with you reminds me of the many benefits of aging well, gracefully, and more confident. Do you know how many 100-year-olds there are in the United States?
I bet there's a lot.
The U.S. has home to 97,000 centurions. Can you believe that? The highest absolute number in the world. And Japan has the highest rate at 6% of the population aged 100 and older. And they have a person who lives there that she's 117. Wow. Now, I don't mind the thoughts of getting into my hundreds, but I'd like to have my wits about me. I like to be able to talk and not drool. Those are the kind of things, I'd like to be able, I know I won't be driving my car. My youngest son wants to take my license and keys away from me now. Even when I have a subtle mind fart, can I say that on the
Sure.
Oh, okay, I can say that. Now, here are some famous people you may know very well who are in their 90s. Who doesn't love Dick Van Dyke? He was born December of 1925. A beloved American entertainer, renowned for physical comedy and buckets of charm. He was introduced into acting school, and once his performing career started, he quickly established himself as a family favorite on American television and film. Over the course of his long and varied career, he became a legend of American show business. He's 97 years old. Now, I also have to say that his wife, I think, is 52. Do you think that's what's keeping him young?
Yes.
Yes, you do. Definitely. All right, now Tony Bennett, he was born in August of 1926. He made a name for himself using his smooth, soulful voice, which he sang jazz and big band standards. Now, I know that everybody in the listening audience, if you are in the senior range, you know Tony Bennett. He was born in New York, served in the military. Before his performing career in 1950, Cheek to Cheek in 2014, which reached #1 in the United States and made Bennett the oldest person to have topped the album charts. Can you believe that? Bennett has now retired from performing, focusing on health. However, he went out in style, releasing his final record at 95,
Wow.
securing a Guinness World Book record, the oldest person to release an album of all new material. Is that amazing?
That is
96.
Very...
Yeah.
And I'm not a senior citizen, but I know who Tony.
You do know Tony Bennett. You know Dick Van Dyke.
Absolutely.
Okay,
It's one of my favorite shows.
Oh, okay.
The old ones.
Yes, the ones that weren't in color.
With Mary Tyler Moore.
Yes. The way he can fall down and not get hurt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, those were classics.
Do you remember Burt Bacharach?
Yes, I do.
Okay. He was born in May of 1928, a titan of American music. Born and grew up in New York City, he studied classical compositions from a young age, giving him the foundation to write some of the most beloved songs in pop history. I know people in the listening audience are humming songs right now. Beginning his career in 1950, he went on to compose for some of the greatest singers, musical films of the 20th century. Now in his 90s, he remains an active figure in the music industry. Now, this next one, I know you know, and he doesn't not look his age. Norman Lear. Absolutely. Legendary American producer, writer, and director. See, that's my goal, to live and still be okay and witty and still be able to go to the bathroom by myself, that kind of thing. That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for. He had television series All in the Family, Sanford and the Son, The Jeffersons. But during World War II, he enlisted in the Air Force, and he served as a radio operator and a gunner. Following that, he moved into television work as a comedy writer, and history is in the books.
Right.
Janice Page. Do you remember Janice Page?
Yep.
Okay. She was a singing local amateur at the age of 5. Can you believe that? Yeah.
That's young.
She moved to Los Angeles after high school, and she became a singer at a Hollywood canteen. And she would alternate between films and theater work. But she is known as one of the last surviving stars from the golden age of Hollywood. There's those words, golden age. Now, she'll be 100 as of this year.
Wow.
Now, you know what? Before I go any further, I have just got to, again, thank you for having me on the show. I can't wait for the next segment.
It's going to be fun.
Okay.
Wow. So you're listening to Beaver County Radio, 95.7, 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WNBA. And right now, it is currently 9:21 in Beaver County. And the Beaver County Radio weather forecast for today is calling for a cloudy day with a high of 48 degrees. And then Thursday looks like we're going to have some rain showers. Friday, possible snow showers. But we're going to have a dry weekend. It looks like it's going to be partly sunny throughout the weekend. High Saturday, 34. High Sunday, 41. It's currently 32 degrees here in Beaver County.
Wintertime is when performance matters the most. That's because water can turn to ice. This is the Aquaman of Beaver County, Jim Riggio from the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority. Whether it's fighting off the evils of underground pipes freezing or taking an extra shift on the ice during a power play, me and my team know how to react when it's on the line. From sinks to rinks, if it needs water this winter, you know you can depend on the Aquamen and women of Beaver Falls Municipal Authority. Click bfwater.net.
When accidents and injuries happen, you need the experience and insight of the legal team at Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George. Since 1934, they've been committed to the physical and financial recovery of personal injury victims. Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George, a law firm of AV-rated attorneys and super lawyers. Attorney Larry Kelly.
That we establish relationships with our clients, because I still believe that relationships still matter. That this isn't strictly business between me and the client, that there's a relationship that develops. And there's nothing more important, I think, in any attorney-client situation than the client believing that the attorney actually cares about them personally.
For your initial consultation, call the law firm of Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George at 724-658-8535 or online at lgkg.com. Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George, keeping promises for over 80 years.
It's always the right time to shop the Hopewell Shopping Center, no matter what the season, no matter what the reason. It's truly your neighborhood shopping place with such a large variety of businesses that offer food, shopping, fine dining and quick serving restaurants, personal services, and recreation. The Hopewell Shopping Center will be your one-stop for everything you need whenever you need it. Just click on beavercountyradio.com, the Hopewell Shopping Center merchant directory, for a complete look of merchants today. And get shopping at your neighborhood shopping place, the Hopewell Shopping Center.
It's the diamond anniversary year of Beaver County Radio, and it's bigger and better than ever. We're now part of the St. Barnabas Radio Network and simulcasting on 4 radio stations and online at beavercountyradio.com.
And we're back here on Teleforum. I'm Frank Sparks along with Miss Valery McElvy. And we're here for Eddy Crow today. Eddie's on vacation this week. And tomorrow, the one and only Jimmy Miller will be sitting in for Eddy Crow. And then I'll be in on Friday morning. It is the Time Machine, 1968 VW bus. We're going to talk about the 1950s and what songs were popular in the 50s and the number ones throughout the year and what you expected to pay for things in the 50s compared to now. And also, my special guest at 10:15 on Friday is going to be none other than St. Barnabas CEO, Mr. William Day. And he's going to talk about life back in Beaver County in the 1950s. Miss Val, believe it or not, he grew up in Rochester.
Get out.
Yes. His house was right across the street from where Didio's is.
Get
where
out.
Didio's used to be.
Oh,
yeah.
my goodness.
Yeah. So we're talking about, they were talking, his son, Doug, Mr. Day's son, was telling me at our Christmas party about this big boat of a car they had. So I got to hear about this big boat of a car that they had. So we're just going to have some fun Friday.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
So wine? What are we talking about here? Wine. You wine? Is that what's going on here?
Did I mention wine? Well,
Yeah.
now that you've mentioned it, the one and only famous philanthropist, Rose Kennedy, 86 when she passed away, she said, "I'm like old wine. They don't bring me out very often, but I'm very well preserved."
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Now, with that in mind, let's take a look at some of the best aged fine wine quotes since you brought it up.
Okay. All right.
It's true. Some wine improves with age, but only if the grapes were good in the first place. That was Abigail Van Buren. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
People mature with age and experience. I hope I more resemble a fine wine than a bad vinegar. Oh, Rick Kaplan. Wine is a bottled poetry. Robert Louis Stevenson. When I drink wine, I often think of poetry. Roses are red, violets are blue.
Yeah.
Wine improves with age. I improve with wine.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with
Nope.
that. Now, how often does someone see you that hasn't seen you in a long time, or a child comes up to you, or your mother's friend from ages ago says, "How old are you?" This ancient question never gets old. People do, but not this question. As such, we humans react in different ways to this dreaded question. Many tell the truth, some deny it, and others they try to be funny, sarcastic, rude, or clever. My oldest son he's a master at sarcasm. So here are some answers you can use and you can say. Now get a pencil and paper.
Okay.
I'm old enough to know better, but still too young to care. All right, okay. How old do you think I am? That is not a good question. Soon as you start guessing, you're going to mess up.
Especially if it's a woman.
Yes, absolutely. You can't do that.
No.
Age is just a number. No, okay. What number you want to pick?
Yeah, right.
I have no idea. That means dementia has set in. It doesn't matter how old I am. That's a personal question. It's rude to ask people their age. Older than I look. I don't even like that. Younger than I look. It's a secret. I'm older than I've ever been before. Okay, that's everybody. You know, age doesn't matter. And then classic, guess. Definitely. Don't do that. Don't guess. And people have done, don't guess or ask, how old do you think I am? No, please, because I'm going to be wrong. Or you can do the old person thing. That's what my husband does with the no hearing.
Right.
What did you say? Huh? What did you say?
That comes from being seasonally married.
Seasonable. I like that. Huh? What'd you say? But yet when we're watching again, oh no, that's a whole nother show.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay.
I didn't hear a word of what you said.
Yeah, I didn't hear a word. There are 7 living generations. Did you know that? And they have names.
Yeah.
I did research on this.
Okay.
I spent hours and sleepless nights with this. Okay.
7 generations.
The greatest generation, that's the GI generation, born 1901 to 1924.
Okay.
The silent generation, born 1928, 1945. I don't know how
No, that's not your generation.
That's not my generation,
Yeah.
no. The baby boom generation, born 1946 to 1964. We'll talk about that in a minute. Generation X, born 1965 through 1980.
Well, that's me.
And the millennial generation, or Generation Y, is born 1981 to 1996. And then Generation Z, born 1997 or 2010. Okay, I guess we're waiting for the next.
Yeah, I was
name.
going to say, what's this current one?
I don't know.
Because we're at the end of the alphabet. We
Yeah.
got to go somewhere.
Yeah, but we've already went to Generation Z.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I should have started the show with a disclaimer. I am by far not an expert on this subject of aging. But without revealing my age on the radio, I am a baby boomer. Okay. And the term is used to describe a person who was born between 1946 and 1964. A member of the demographic large generation between that age period. The baby boomer generation makes up a substantial portion of the world's population. I'm in that group. According to the latest census, it represents 73 million of the population in the United States as of July 2019. Now, before I go any further, I was not born in the 40s. Okay, just to clear. And you can put your paper and pencil down and pay attention.
You're at the end of the baby boomers.
The end of the I like that.
Go.
The end of the baby boomers. They were working on another name after I was.
Yeah.
Born. Okay, so as the largest generational group in the U.S. history, until the millennial generation slightly surpassed them, the baby boomers have had and continue to have a significant impact on the economy. I like being in that group. As a result, we are often the focus of marketing campaigns and business plans.
Mm-hmm.
Because of their high numbers and the relative prosperity of the U.S. economy during their career, baby boomers are economically influential generation. Don't you love that?
Yeah.
What generation you in?
I'm right behind you. What's Generation Y or whatever?
Yeah, Generation
I'm
Y.
right after you.
Okay,
I'm at
right
the
there.
beginning of that one.
Okay. So today, baby boomers are reaching retirement age, that's me, and face some key challenges, including funding their retirement. The term baby boomer is derived from the boom and burst that took place after the return of soldiers from World War II. Again, that was not me. Anyways, so you see, age is an issue of mind over matter. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter.
right.
Quote from Mark Twain. And like I said, I did a lot of research, and all I had to type in Google was golden years, senior living. But this tells my age, because remember the time when we would go to our dad's den and go to the encyclopedia, Funk and Wagner, and we start reading pages that we couldn't see because the words were too small,
Oh, yeah.
and we had to dust it off? Oh, sorry, I digress. I'm sorry. One of the phrases we most often use is aging gracefully. What does that mean? I'll tell you shortly.
Okay. Coming up, time for news. Curtis Walsh will be coming up. If you have any comments or want to call in, 724-774-1888 and 724-843-1888. And you can talk with Miss Val this morning. And I'm going to share a story with you real quick about, you were talking about age and people asking your age. I think I'm the only one that gets carded at Applebee's.
Oh.
Because I can, you know how like you can be 55 and get the senior citizen discount?
Yes.
They don't believe me that I am 56 years
Get
old.
out.
So they ask me for my identification every time I hand them that card that gives me a 10% discount.
And then you have to prove that daughter is not your granddaughter, it's your daughter?
I've had that, yeah.
Yeah, I had that too.
Oh, your granddaughter? No, that's my daughter.
That's my daughter.
Sorry. She was born when I was 51. Sorry. So, all right. It is 9:30, a little after 9:30. It's time for news. Here's Curtis Walsh here on Beaver County Radio.
Beaver County Radio's news source, 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMVA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com. Here's Curtis Walsh.
Mostly cloudy today with a high near 47. We'll have a complete Beaver County radio weather forecast after this look at news. The ramp from 3rd Avenue to Route 65 North in Freedom was closed this morning just after 6 a.m. following a fatal accident involving a struck pedestrian. Beaver County 911 reports that police and emergency personnel were on the scene and the coroner had been called. We're working on getting more details in the ongoing story, but we have received reports that Route 65 is reopened. The city of Beaver Falls is looking to make some progress in 2023. Matt Durzik explains the details from Monday night's council meeting.
The Beaver Falls City Council was presented with a presentation by Kate Green of Atlas Community Studios in regards to the progress and plans of some of the city's newest businesses. One of those plans includes the moving of Neighborhood North Museum of Play to the old News Tribune building next to the Carnegie Free Library.
The News Tribune is a very iconic building, and seeing that kind of come back to life with its connectivity to March Park and the library is going to be really powerful. And so we were able to build some tools that will help Neighborhood North accomplish those goals through both the business plan, a toolkit that will help them in their capital budgeting, which can sometimes be a little bit tricky, helping them navigate tax credits and things like that that will help pull the multi-million-dollar project together. And then, of course, again, a list of funding sources that would support for Neighborhood North their organizational growth.
The full story from last night's meeting can be found at beavercountyradio.com. From Beaver Falls, I'm Matt Durzik for Beaver County Radio News.
New funding of $50,000 approved for the Beaver County-based Crop and Kettle will allow the nonprofit to expand resources for urban agriculture training, State Representative Rob Matzey announced. Matzey said the funding awarded under the 2022-23 PA Farm Bill Urban Agriculture Grant Program can help provide residents a path to productive jobs. Beyond fighting food insecurity, urban agriculture can open doors to jobs, Matzey said. The funding awarded today will expand resources for Crop and Kettle so this community nonprofit organization can continue providing the training and social development skills that help residents overcome employment barriers. Aliquippa officials are refusing to comment on last week's incident involving police. Here's Beaver County Radio News correspondent Sandy Giordano with more.
Aliquippa Mayor Dwan B. Walker said that an incident that occurred in West Aliquippa last week is a personnel matter involving police officers, and officials can't comment. Social media posts were posted on the private West Aliquippa website. City Solicitor Marin Orsinovich couldn't be reached for comment. An executive session was held at the end of last Wednesday's council meeting concerning the police-involved matter. No new updates have been made available by the city. This is Sandy Giordano reporting for Beaver County Radio.
The Pennsylvania Department of Transportation announced that all driver's license and photo centers, including its full-service center in Harrisburg, will be closed Saturday, January the 14th through Monday, January 16th in observance of Martin Luther King Day. Customers may still obtain a variety of driver and vehicle products and services, including all forms, publications, and driver training manuals online through PennDOT's Driver and Vehicle Services website. The United Way of Beaver County is once again assisting AARP in scheduling tax preparation appointments. The mission of AARP Tax Aid is to offer free tax help for taxpayers with low and moderate income. Membership in AARP is not required, and tax preparers are trained and IRS certified. Taxpayers may call the United Way of Beaver County office at 724-774-3210 to schedule an appointment Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., beginning Tuesday, January 17th. Appointments can be scheduled for one of 3 locations this year at the Beaver Memorial Library, Pathway Church in Chippewa, and Circle of Friends in New Brighton. The United Way of Beaver County needs many volunteers to schedule appointments. If you can help for part of a day or for several days, please call 724-774-3210 as soon as possible. This brought me...
Here's the Beaver County forecast on 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com.
Today's forecast is calling for mostly cloudy skies with a high near 47. We'll have a slight chance of showers after 8 p.m. with otherwise mostly cloudy skies and a low around 39. Showers tomorrow mainly after 1 p.m. with a high near 54. Snow showers on Friday mainly before 7 a.m. with otherwise cloudy skies and a high near 37. Sunny on Saturday with a high near 34, and the sunshine sticks around Sunday with a high near 41. This newscast is being brought to you by MRS Physical Therapy. That's a look at the news for now. I'm Curtis Walsh on 99.3 FM, 95.7 FM, 1230, WBVP, 1460, WMBA, and streaming live around the world at beavercountyradio.com.
Computers and internet searches can be very helpful for discovering information, but not always when it comes to researching medical conditions and finding help. Dale Reckless from MRS Physical Therapy recently discussed this topic in a radio interview.
A lot of patients come in and they say, well, I Googled this and it didn't really help. Well, I understand, we Google things and we want to get information, but Google's not going to assess you personally. Google's going to give you an overall possibility to what could be going on with you, but you really need the eyes of the professional and the hands-on, the professional like what we have at MRS Physical Therapy to steer you in the right direction for what exercises should help you out. And then you're going to be getting the hands-on skills that we provide to help work on your soft tissue, to help relax the muscles, to help make it feel better.
If you need physical therapy for any reason, choose the place that your friends and neighbors do. MRS Physical Therapy in Bridgewater and Cranberry Physical Therapy in Cranberry. Visit mrsphysicaltherapy.com.
Talk about what's happening in Beaver County or around the world on Teleforum. 724-843-1888. 724-774-1888. It's Teleforum with Eddy Crow.
And Eddy Crow's on vacation this week. He'll be back with you again come Monday. And today we have Miss Valery McElvy, who is guest hosting. Tomorrow will be the one and only Jimmy Miller, but we'll also have for you tomorrow as well the Best of Beaver County with Mike Romai. Josh Kell is his guest on the Best of Beaver County. Then 11:30 is Notes on Entertainment with Scott Tatey from the Beaver County Times, along with Jimmy Miller. And from what I understand, that Jimmy's wife, Dina, will be joining us, and they'll be talking about one of their new original songs that they have tomorrow here on Beaver County Radio. Then Friday, it is the Time Machine. We'll take you back in the 1968 VW bus, and we're going to go back to the 1950s, celebrating 75 years of Beaver County Radio. And I know, Miss Val, that you're not this old, so you probably don't remember, but I remember my mom telling me about this all the time. Back in the day, in the 1940s, Chuck Waxy Wilson used to spin these songs, late 40s, early 50s. So we're going to play a lot of songs that you might have heard on a show called Wilson's Waxworks.
Wow. No, that's
it's before way before our time.
Way
before our time. Yeah. Well, I'm more of the Jim Reynolds
yes
type
I
of
Jim Reynolds.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm the Jim Reynolds growing up in school, when we were younger, when we were growing up and we were in high school, we used to always tune in and listen. They used to have the breakfast trivia question.
Mm-hmm.
They'd give you free breakfast to a local restaurant.
Wow.
You get I still have the coffee cups to this day.
Get out.
Yeah. So we used to do that. I remember that back in the day. That was kind of like the morning thing. And then, of course, Jim Reynolds in the menu. He would read the school lunch menus. And every time, Johnny Marzetti, somebody caught that devil today. That'll always sit with me just because those guys were always between, him, Chris Shevlin. They were just.
Yes, Chris Shevlin, I know.
Yeah, those were memories. And that's why I like working here, because those were memories of when I was a kid and kind of what makes me be here.
Yeah.
So, Miss Val, we call her Miss New Brighton. She does everything and anything to help out in New Brighton. A lot of times, a lot of the festivals and stuff she's a part of. One of the big things she does is decorates the town, especially when you see fall, when Fall Fest comes along and there's all the different corn stalks and things around town. She coordinates all that, does all that. But then let's take a second real quick and let's talk a little bit about We're at Your Service. It's a thing that Miss Val does, and she helps out the community, and just all around, you need help, she's here to help. Tell us a little bit about that.
1988, my husband, who is now retired, he started working out of town, and I wanted to start a business. So that's how old it is. And we bought a building, and I started doing small services, secretarial services, and called it We're at Your Service. And who would know or think that this many years later, I am a nonprofit, and it is called We're at Your Service, and I give things away to people who are in need. Everything in the shop is donated. I make no purchases whatsoever. And I give things to people, women's shelter, halfway houses, jails, churches, anybody who's in need. They can come and get food from the food pantry, clothes, non-perishables. And I just love every single moment. In New Brighton. Wouldn't be anywhere else but New Brighton.
I call Miss Val's attic when you open that back door there.
Yeah,
We'll be riding by, and I'll say to my wife, hey, here's Miss Val in her attic.
There I am. And it also, I know I can't say bad words, but it's also the BS corner, because there's times when nothing but BS is flying, and then other times when nothing but scripture flies.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that.
It goes both ways,
See, that's my deck's the same way.
Same way?
When you walk up on the bottom of my deck, the top step says BS Boulevard.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so everybody knows that's where you come to hang out and BS, and
And then my truck, I have a black Denali, and it says Val Jr. So when I go pick up, I dumpster dive. So when I go pick up stuff, I can't even do it secretly because they go,
everybody
there
knows.
goes Miss Val.
She's dumpster diving again.
Dumpster diving.
So what we're at Angela Vorderbruggen. She says, hey, I see you, Miss Val.
See me.
Yeah,
hi,
on a Facebook
hi,
feed.
Angela.
So, you can call in 724-774-1888, 843-1888 if you have any comments as Miss Val is talking this morning. And also you can make comments on our Facebook Live feed as well at Beaver County. You can go beavercountyradio.com, type it in, or WBVP-WNBA. So what are we talking about next?
Well, you know what? I still have to put the plug in for Spotlight on Seniors. And when we do
Let's
that
do it.
show on Sunday and it airs at 11, I have a large listening audience, and I love it because they call me with suggestions. They call me with comments. We talk about things that are just geared to seniors. Last week we talked about senior and driving. I've learned so much. We've talked about illnesses, mental health. I'm very concerned about mental health. You can have a broken leg and have a cast on, but when you're mentally suffering, no one knows. We talk about depression and the holidays. And I thank the Office on Aging for allowing me carte blanche to be able to talk about serious issues. And then when I'm not on the show, I just got to let you know, I do have people to call me at home and say, I don't listen when you don't say good Sunday morning. They turn you off, okay? So just know.
And trust me, if there's an issue that week or something, they tell you that too.
Yeah. Oh, yes, they do.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. Hey, where'd Val go this week?
Yeah, I know. And then the one time they asked me, it was a show that I did at least a couple months ago, and someone will call and say, you mentioned something in that part of your show, and I needed you to recap that for me. Excuse me?
Nah.
That's when I use the I'm old card. I have no idea. I don't know what I had for breakfast this morning.
They say the first thing that goes to mind.
It's the mind. It's the mind. One of the phrases we use quite often is aging gracefully, and we really need to study that. What does gracefully mean? Gracefully, I hear bells and, flowers and daisies. No, it's not about that. You think graceful means movement, but it doesn't. Aging gracefully is not just a term meant for old people. Aging, whether you loathe it or love it, has been happening to you since the day you were born. The moment that you breathe air on your own, you start to age. So it's a process. Now, what I have learned in my personal process for aging is that it's less important what people see when they look at me, but rather how they feel when they are around me. Maya Angelou said it best. She said, I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. I got to say it again. I've learned that people will forget what you said, they'll forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
The frog, that frog comes.
There you go. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
The frog's getting her.
It's getting me. Aging gracefully is often a euphemism for looking old but still holding on. I love that. Showing signs of aging but still moving forward with life. Grace means giving beauty, elegance, and charm to the seemingly effortless beauty or charm of movement. I think we need to get away from thinking of old as a negative term. It doesn't have to be negative. Perhaps aging gracefully doesn't have to refer specifically to age or appearance, but rather the attitude people have as they go through the various stages of life. Getting old is not a death sentence. I want you to think that aging must be a matter of acceptance rather than one of denial. Do you know anyone older than you, Frank, that moves through life every moment with grace? Do you know anybody personally?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
Yeah, a couple people.
Yeah, I think your mother is graceful.
That's
graceful
one person I was thinking of.
Yeah. I do believe it. And I know lots of people who I would like to model my senior years after. Don't want to mention names, but I have a wonderful neighbor that I love dearly. I want to be like her because she has aged gracefully. I have a wise counsel mentor and lives in Bridgewater. She's 96.
Wow.
Still living on her own, still in her right mind, still feisty as ever. That's what I want. She's not driving. They did take her keys, but
I want to still be able to drive at that age.
You want to drive?
Yeah,
See, so do I. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't stand getting in the car with anybody else.
Oh, me neither. And I want to be able to leave when I want to leave.
Right. Yeah.
Mental alertness is important, and not to worry attitude. That's the thing that when you get to a point where you're fretting over stuff that makes no difference, makes none. Sometimes we have to fight to get what we want. But if we live more graceful moments and fewer fighting moments, it is likely that our time on earth will be filled with kindness. And this is how I want to be remembered. This would make me feel full of grace if I could always show kindness. I want the marks of my age to tell my stories and hold my memories. In the words of Mark Twain, wrinkles should merely indicate where the smiles have been. Years ago, I did a stint with the Department of Education, Harrisburg, and we traveled all over the United States doing workshops. And one of the workshops we did was with parents, and another one was with administrators. And knowing me, I'm always trying to do something different. So I brought a measuring tape with me. And all these administrators had their face like this with their eyebrows wrinkled. And what could you possibly tell me? You're just a parent. And I said, I want to go around and measure who smiles the biggest. And they went, my big smile? And believe it or not, the biggest one I measured was 9 inches. From corner to corner, Wow. It was 9 inches. What a conversation starter that was. If we as seniors could exercise our smile face and try to reach that 9-inch smile, that means you are really feeling good, So we got to practice that. Aging gracefully is often based on appearance. That's why we all use eye creams and face creams, neck creams, wrinkle remover. I could go on and on forever. If we didn't care about our appearances, we'd all be smearing peanut butter and mayonnaise on our face.
Okay.
Rather than expensive creams.
Whatever.
It's human nature. If we feel young, why not look young? I once got a large donation from a generous donor at my shop. She gave me a bunch of great stuff because I do get crap every so often, but some of this stuff is fantastic. And I don't look at the stuff when they bring it in. I don't want to embarrass them or be so excited.
Right.
Okay.
Right. You want to keep the stuff that aged gracefully.
Yeah. Yes. So she comes in with an apology. Okay, please don't judge me. What could you possibly have in this box? Inside this box was every kind of wrinkle remover, age defier, eye lifter. I mean, everything.
Mm-hmm.
She only used a little bit, and then it didn't work. So I was able to donate to people who are concerned about their looks. But I had every kind, every product.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. But my mom and dad are on the other side of the Chili Jordan right now. But I remember when I was young, I could hardly stand to have them around me, let alone trying to give me advice. But when I got grown, somewhere between 21 and 30, I was shocked and astonished. They were pretty smart.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they were pretty
Dead
smart.
on.
Yeah. That was taken loosely from Mark Twain's quote, you know? They were pretty smart. So this brings me to the children of today, who will be the adults of tomorrow. And thus, their attitudes towards older people lay the groundwork for the future self-concept and psychological well-being. And you got to look at kids, because kids nowadays are, I'm sure you know, Frank, that there are things that your kids will say that you were not allowed to say when you were home.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. Weren't allowed to roll your eyes.
I just look at them like,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Suck your teeth.
Yeah.
You know, none of those things. So now we have to really look at the children, because they're going to talk to you honestly about what they feel. We have to understand how they perceive older people, thus critical importance of our aging world. I was doing somersaults and drawing chalk people on the sidewalk a while back and playing hopscotch. Yeah.
Somersaults.
I was.
Yeah. Okay, I got to see that.
I was struggling.
Oh, okay.
I was struggling. Right. And my granddaughter was 5 years old at the time.
I got you. Okay.
And she was I was struggling, and she's playing, and she looks at me and says, "Gemma, you do know you're old, don't you?"
Oh, man. Oh, you know what would happen if you'd have said that to somebody?
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, my gosh.
Oh, my. And I took it. I said, "Oh, my God." You know, I said, and she's 5.
Yeah.
So the other story was, and I didn't know, do you know I can't ride a bicycle anymore? I didn't know that. I thought it was something you always remembered.
Yeah.
Again, she's 5, and a bicycle was donated to me, and we pulled the bicycle out the garage, and she says to me, "Oh, no, you're not going to try this, are you?" 5. I says, "Why can't I? Do you know I couldn't?"
Oh, wow.
I'm embarrassed. So now she's 13, and when she sees me, she'll say, "Can you ride a bicycle yet?"
Wow.
So now I'm never going to forget it. The wound is still open.
She's never going to let you down and live that one. Wow.
Yes.
I can't remember last time I was on a bike. So I don't know if that would,
You don't know.
And
that's on my bucket list. I'm going to ride a bike again.
Okay.
I'm going to.
Then a unicycle right after that, right?
Yes. And on
you can be like in
pogo stick.
There you go. You could be like in a Halloween parade riding a unicycle.
There you go.
Yeah.
So keep in mind that we have helped shape the opinion of our children by how we are. They think we're frail, past it, over the hill, 1 foot in the grave, one in the banana peel, forgetful, decrepit, all those things. It's no wonder that the children see their future as old person, that they shudder that they'll be in a wheelchair-bound walker with oxygen. Now, while some children were positive about their future lives, others were not. For these children, there was an emphasis on frailty, and may refer to the need to move to a care home, being ill, dying, or being dead. One child said, "I would be forgetting everything. I would be getting depressed." When my mother was in Providence, and Diva, I'm going to say her name because Diva is the one that can say things to me that I don't respond to. I go, "I'm sorry," or "How could that have happened?" And my mother was in the nursing home, and she was forgetful and not very kind. And I said, "Diva, we're going to go into Providence. We'll just be a few minutes so we can visit Grammy." And she said, "I'll wait in the car." "I'll wait in the car?" Now, could you have said that? Could you have said that when you?
No.
"I'll wait in the car?"
No.
So we have to look at the children because they're being honest with it. These are things we wanted to say.
Yeah.
We just didn't. Now, an important finding from our study was that children who had negative feelings about old people now were also more likely to have a poor visualization of their future at age 70. I want them to think of retirement, leisure, relaxation, sitting next to the pool, taking a nap when I feel like it, visiting the grandchildren. That's what I want them to envision, okay? So why does this even matter? Well, research with adults aged over 50 has shown that those with more positive self-perceptions of aging lived longer, okay? And that's true. I mean, laughter gets rid of a lot of stress, and we need to get as my youngest son says, don't rent space in your head with this foolishness.
Yeah.
So it even brings better health. You can make a change. So therefore, exploring the ways that children see themselves is how we can move forward.
Okay. So what are we going to talk about next hour?
Golden years.
Golden years.
Yes.
Okay. Golden years. I'm not there yet. I think it's going to be a long time before I get there.
I think I'm
Slide back up by the microphone so that I can hear you.
I think
Nobody can hear you when you're sitting back.
I was slouched.
She's like back chilling, you know?
I was chilling. I had my glass of wine.
You got your glass of wine and you're ready to go. Okay. All right. So you think you're in your golden years.
I think I am.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that. I'm going to be young for forever. That's how I look
I'm
at
still
it.
young.
In my mind.
Well, the
You know
world
what I mean?
classifies me in the golden years.
Yeah.
I'm still young.
Okay. All right. We're going to talk about that next hour.
Okay.
All right. Phone lines will be open at 724-774-1888 and 843-1888. And your Beaver County Radio weather forecast for today is calling for a cloudy day with a high of 48 degrees. And then tomorrow, rain showers in your forecast, a high of 52. Friday, snow showers in the forecast, high of 37. And then for your weekend, 34 on Saturday and partly cloudy, 41 and dry on Sunday with partly cloudy skies. Currently at 9:58 here in Beaver County, we're sitting at 32 degrees. And coming up next here on Beaver County Radio is top of the hour news with Town Hall News, followed by local news with Curtis Walsh. And we'll have more for you coming up here on Teleforum, here on a Wednesday morning.
Children are the future, and your future career begins at Life Steps Early Education Center, hiring child care assistants and preschool teachers for full-time, part-time, or substitute positions. Life Steps offers 100% paid health, dental, and vision premiums for full-time staff, making a difference in the lives of children for nearly 100 years. Call Life Steps today at 724-283-1010 or visit lifesteps.net. That's lifesteps.net to find out more. Life Steps is an equal opportunity employer.
The best of Beaver County is easy to discover. It's right here on your radio. Tune in Beaver County Radio or watch the Best of Beaver County live on Facebook or YouTube video this and every Thursday from 11 to 11:30. The program is made possible by St. Barnabas. For over 3 years now, the show has been dedicated to shining light on the great things going on right here in your neighborhood and the people that are making it happen. This Thursday, enjoy conversation and insight from an intriguing lineup of guests who are creating excitement and having an impact right here in Beaver County. Your friends and neighbors at St. Barnabas are pleased to support the Best of Beaver County. The radio broadcast will also be replayed each week from 11:30 to noon on Sundays on Beaver County Radio. Archived Best of Beaver County videos can be viewed on the WBVP WMBA Facebook page. It's your chance to encounter the best of Beaver County with host Mike Romai this Thursday starting at 11. For more information, visit beavercountyradio.com. You're listening to 95.7 FM, 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, in addition to 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls and 1460 WMBA Ambridge.
To clear a backlog of thousands of flight delays, more than 4,300 delays, cancellations exceeding 760, according to FlightAware.com. Sharon Swanson, delayed at Newark Airport, says if between bad weather and now this, traveling can be such a hassle these days.
More stressful. Everything from the bags to the timing, everything's just a little harder now than it was.
And now attention turns to pinpointing the cause of the FAA's computer woes. Asked whether it might be a cyber attack, President Biden says at this point officials don't know, but he vows they will find out. And the president says came as a surprise to him, the discovery by his lawyers of government records, in this case classified documents, in one of his offices at the University of Pennsylvania.
People know I take classified documents and classified information seriously.
Biden's defenders insist the president's people are handling this appropriately, having turned the records over to the National Archives. Mr. Biden denounced former President Trump as irresponsible for his handling of such records.
I would note that Joe Biden's case in some ways is even more troublesome than Donald Trump's case.
Then Republican Senator Tom Cotton says that's because
Joe Biden is a former vice president when these papers are involved. The vice president does not have the same prerogatives and the same kind of declassification authority that a former president does.
Senator Cotton speaking with Town Hall News. Governor Newsom says more than half of California's counties have been declared disaster areas following a series of deadly storms that have hammered the state in recent days. Watching Wall Street, the Dow is up 82 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
You know that your dollar doesn't go as far as it used to. At Key City Capital, we know that as well and would like you to know about investments we believe can make sense in an inflationary environment. For more details, check us out at keycitycapital.com. Key City offers passive investments in cash-flowing real estate that can help offer a hedge against inflation and stock market volatility. When prices rise, more couples and families further delay homeownership. Key City Capital owns thousands of rental units with attractive prospects for income and appreciation as more and more renters apply to live in their communities. Let the team at Key City Capital grow your wealth and diversify your investment portfolio. Connect with them today at keycitycapital.com or call 817-912-1569, 817-912-1569. Again, that's keycitycapital.com or call 817-912-1569, 817-912-1569.
An unpopular compensation package for Palestinians gets a makeover by the Israeli government. We got the latest from the Media Line's Felice Friedson.
Israel's newly appointed finance minister has acted against the Palestinian program of providing stipends to families of those killed or captured while attacking Israelis. The program of support has been labeled pay for slay and condemned by Israel, the United States, and a number of European nations. Ultra-nationalistic finance minister Bezalel Smotrich froze the transfer of millions of dollars in taxes and tariffs Israel collects for the Palestinians under the Oslo Accords process, some of which is the source of the stipends Israel contends encourage violence against its citizens. The minister said he intends to distribute the collected funds to Israeli victims of Arab terror. I'm Felice Friedson, Town Hall News, Jerusalem.
News and analysis at themedialine.org and townhall.com. Southwest Airlines going all out in an attempt to burnish its heavily tarnished image.
Southwest Airlines, trying to make things right with its passengers, announces a $49 fare sale as the airline recovers from its holiday meltdown. Southwest Airlines is selling tickets for as little as $49 through Thursday for travel beginning later this month and into the spring. The deal comes in the wake of the airline's holiday travel meltdown, which saw thousands of flights canceled and passengers and bags left stranded for days. Southwest has promised to compensate passengers and take steps to prevent a similar operational catastrophe from happening again. I'm Bill Alexander reporting.
The fate of a devastated mining town in eastern Ukraine is hanging in the balance. Ukrainian forces are holding out against a furious Russian onslaught in what has become a bloody focal point of Putin's almost 11-month-old war. More on these stories. Townhall.com.
Beaver County Radio's news source, 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMVA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com. Here's Curtis Walsh.
Mostly cloudy today with a high near 47. We'll have a complete Beaver County radio weather forecast after this look at news. The ramp from 3rd Avenue to Route 65 North in Freedom was closed just after 6 a.m. this morning following a fatal accident involving a struck pedestrian. Beaver County 911 reports that police and emergency personnel responded and the coroner was called to the scene. We're working on getting more details of this ongoing story. Hopewell School Board heard an update on Hopewell Elementary School concerning rodents and bacteria. Here's Beaver County Radio News correspondent Sandy Giordano with more.
A special presentation was presented to the school board's work session to update the board and students and parents on the problems at the school that may have caused gastrointestinal illnesses to students prior to Christmas break, necessitating virtual learning from December 19th to the 22nd of 22. Bill King, FMS Building Contractor Manager, and Mike Copar, PSI Program Manager of Environmental Services, outlined all the steps taken to determine the source of the bacteria and found 2 rodents and droppings in a boys' bathroom wall. Every area of the school was checked for rodents in the building. On December 31st, 2022, Bactronics went through the school. Crestwell Heights Water Authority came in the school, and normal molds were found at the school. And PA Department of Health was contacted, and the district followed all the guidelines necessary. Superintendent Dr. Jeff Belts told those present that the district will continue to work and monitor the situation. This is Sandy Giordano reporting for Beaver County Radio.
The Pennsylvania Department of Transportation announced that all driver's license centers and photo centers, including its full-service center in Harrisburg, will be closed Saturday, January 14th through Monday, January 16th in observance of Martin Luther King Day. Customers may still obtain a variety of driver and vehicle products and services, including all forms, publications, and driver training manuals, online through PennDOT's Driver and Vehicle Services website, dmv.pa.gov. The city of Beaver Falls is looking to make some progress in 2023. Matt Durzik explains the details from Monday night's council meeting.
Presentation by Kate Green of Atlas Community Studios in regards to the progress and plans of some of the city's newest businesses. One of those plans includes the moving of Neighborhood North Museum of Play to the old News Tribune building next to the Carnegie Free Library.
The News Tribune is a very iconic building, and seeing that kind of come back to life with its connectivity to March Park and the library is going to be really powerful. And so we were able to build some tools that will help Neighborhood North accomplish those goals. Through both the business plan, a toolkit that will help them in their capital budgeting, which can sometimes be a little bit tricky, helping them navigate tax credits and things like that that will help pull the multi-million-dollar project together. And then, of course, again, a list of funding sources that would support for Neighborhood North their organizational growth.
The full story from last night's meeting can be found at beavercountyradio.com. From Beaver Falls, I'm Matt Durzik for Beaver County Radio News.
Aliquippa officials are refusing to comment on last week's incident involving police. Here's Beaver County Radio News correspondent Sandy Giordano with the details.
Aliquippa Mayor Dewan B. Walker said that an incident that occurred in West Aliquippa last week is a personnel matter involving police officers, and officials can't comment. Social media posts were posted on the private West Aliquippa website. City Solicitor Myron Orsinovich couldn't be reached for comment. An executive session was held at the end of last Wednesday's council meeting concerning the police-involved matter. No new updates have been made available by the city. This is Sandy Giordano reporting for Beaver County Radio.
Here's the Beaver County forecast on 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com.
We can expect mostly cloudy skies today with a high near 47. We'll have a slight chance of showers tonight, mainly after 8 p.m., with otherwise mostly cloudy skies and a low around 39. Showers tomorrow, mainly after 1, with a high of 54. Some snow showers likely on Friday, mainly in the morning, with otherwise cloudy skies and a high near 37. And it'll be mostly sunny on Saturday with a high near 34. Here on this Wednesday, January the 11th at 10 after 10, we're at 34 degrees with partly cloudy skies in Beaver County. That's a look at the news for now. I'm Curtis Walsh on 99.3 FM, 95.7 FM, 1230, WBVP, 1460, WMBA, and streaming live around the world at beavercountyradio.com.
You know, Ms. Fowl, we're talking about aging gracefully. And you know, Curtis over here, as you can see, and I'm turning the camera back on so people can see. They can't really see him, but there he goes. Curtis, he was turned 25 on Sunday.
25,
yeah.
You baby. Oh.
That's right, 25.
And you think you're grown, huh?
And you think you're old too, don't you?
Hey, I'm feeling it a little bit.
You feeling it?
Oh, what could you possibly be
wait till
feeling?
you get. Wait till it's a task to get out of bed in the morning. You're gonna sit up and sit at the edge of the bed for a couple minutes and get your wits about you. It's like, I can't imagine it getting any worse. But yeah, so Curtis turned 25 the other day.
25.
Yeah. Yep.
Bless your heart.
Could only wish.
I don't want to go that far back.
Oh, it's good memories.
Good memories,
back
yeah,
then,
but I don't want to go that far.
My first child was born when I was Curtis's age.
Yeah, mine.
My oldest.
Mine was born a little bit before that, yeah.
Well, Curtis, you might want to listen to Miss Val. She'll tell you how to age gracefully, because that's what we're talking about today.
Yes.
All right. Yes. Appreciate it.
I
will
all the advice
take
you
your
can get,
advice. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Curtis. Curtis will be back at 10:30. It is Teleforum here on a Wednesday morning. Frank Sparks along with guest host today, Miss Valery McElvy. And we've been talking about quite a few things. Number one, aging gracefully. And, as you've kind of dug in a little bit, and maybe people could tell us stories too about, when they were younger and if they did some of the things kids today do.
and you know what? You know yourself, and now you're going through it again.
Yeah.
There's things that I was never allowed to do. Call my mother and father by their first name.
Yep.
I might as well just seared my hand with a hot iron or something.
I'm
mean, you just didn't see. Now, I'm from the old school. We said yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am. And I still do that. Now, my kids, my children do. My grandkids, they at least say yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to hear yeah and huh. That is not. I'll go somewhere in a line somewhere and someone yell, hey. Okay, that's not my child. Why am I concerned?
Nothing irritates me more than, and again, I'm going through it again.
Yeah.
Nothing irritates me more than when they're paying attention to something else and you speak to them and they act like you're not even talking to them.
Yes.
And then they just look up at you.
Yes.
And it's like you're bothering them.
My parents, I had to be their direct attention. When they called me by name, I better be somewhere close. And it's yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. We were at, and I called my mother mommy and daddy. My husband thinks that's so ridiculous. And we were at a big function at our church. I'll never forget it.
Mm-hmm.
Someone else's daughter and mother was there, and someone said, hey, mother. And my mother reached up out of the kitchen. She said, Valley, what'd you call me? I said, it wasn't me. I'm still calling you mommy. I mean, those were things, and don't get the look.
Yeah. All the look, yes.
Don't get the look.
I actually haven't called my mom in years, believe it or not.
What do you call her?
As my children were born, and specifically my children more than anything, my mom and dad were known as Graham and Pap.
Yeah.
So I called my mom. I still, to this day, call my mom Graham.
Yeah.
Even when I'm talking to her on the phone,
yeah,
I call her Graham. And my dad.
But not her first name.
No. No. My dad always called him Pap.
Yeah.
So.
See, that's. But so, in reality, we've allowed this to happen. We can certainly put our foot down. My youngest son, who is gives me all my gray hairs. We were somewhere in a public place, and he said, "Look," and I said, "Excuse me?" What he said? Did this sound like I said, "Look"? I mean, and he's grown, but there are some things you just don't cross the line.
Yeah.
It's just. But nowadays, it's over.
No. Well, so we were talking about it off the air a little bit, and I said that I think that the reason why our children act the way they do in this generation now is because we were raised so hardcore.
Yes.
And it wasn't that – this is where people don't understand. I think that's kind of where the train went off the tracks. It wasn't that our parents didn't love us.
And we weren't hurt.
No. They just wanted us to be the best we could be.
Right.
And they wanted – when you go – and I'll steal a phrase from Eddy Crow. When you go somewhere and as a child you're acting like a jagaloon.
Yes.
That's a reflection on your parents.
Absolutely.
And that looks bad on your parents.
Absolutely.
And my personal opinion is I feel that we've, because of especially the generation I'm in, because of that, we've felt that we don't want to raise our kids. And that's not me, trust me.
Yes.
We felt that we don't want to raise our kids that way.
Right.
So moving forward, we just let our kids pretty much run rogue.
Right.
That's okay.
But I don't think we paid attention when it happened. My youngest son was somewhere, and he had made a comment that wasn't appropriate, and his first words were, "You know what? I apologize. My mother did not raise me like that." So I mean, they know,
right?
But what happens? It's just.
Let me ask you this:
Yes.
Do you think that part of the issue is we've not taught our children how to lose?
Oh, that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
That's a bit. You shall not lose. That's exactly. Yeah.
We give participation trophy. Okay, everybody's a champion in this league.
Yes.
And, yeah.
My oldest son, it says there's a winner and a first place loser. those are the two categories.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
There's just first place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
if you're not first, you're last.
You're
That's
last.
how I look at it.
Exactly right.
Yep.
Exactly right.
Yep. But the thing is with the generation we're in, we were taught that if you weren't first and you were on the losing side, you dusted yourself up. You dusted yourself off. You got up and you tried harder.
Try harder.
But we don't teach
today's
generation that, do we?
No, we don't. And it's sad. And I think, and now and you do know that this generation is the largest set of grandparents raising their grandchildren, second and third generation. Can you imagine?
Wow.
So you're going to raise let's say your second generation grandchildren, and they talk like that?
I still wouldn't talk to my mom that way
I can't
today.
even imagine. I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
My grandson had stayed with us for a while, and he had a decision he wanted to make. So we said, if you're going to stay with us, you have to follow by our rules. Okay. He said, okay, that makes sense.
Right.
Until there was somewhere he wanted to go, and then he came to us and said, I was wondering, could I go thus and so? And my husband and I said, no, I don't think so. And he says, well, my mother said it's okay. Oh, your mother's not here.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. There you go. So, all right.
Yeah.
Well, here's what we're going to do. All right?
Okay.
We're going to go to industry. Well, Vanport is where we're going to go right now.
Okay.
And we're going to go to another baby boomer.
Okay.
Let's hear what he has to say.
Okay.
Howie, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Frank.
What's going on?
So good to hear you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm glad to hear Valerie, too.
How are you?
I'm doing fine for an old man.
An old man.
You're only as old as you feel.
That's right.
I'm pushing 84.
Oh, praise God.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think Frank knows that I had a ruptured aorta a year and a half ago.
Oh.
And I almost died.
Oh.
Came very close, within 15 minutes of dying. And that was May the 8th of 21. And August 14th of 21, it ruptured again.
Oh, my goodness.
And the second time wasn't near as bad as the first time. But the second time I knew what it was. The first time I just thought I had a stomach ache. So anyway, I was going to tell you, I'm waiting for Friday to talk to Frank for the old
yeah, for the time machine.
Time machine.
Yeah. I figured it's a good week. Eddie's not around, and good week to dust off the old VW minibus and come out for a ride. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm still driving my Challenger.
All right.
Wow.
Cool.
Wow. What year?
It's an 08. I bought it. It's an 09. I bought it in 08.
Get out.
Oh yeah.
And I got 55,000 miles on it.
Oh my goodness. How many miles you got on your heart?
Yeah. Friday should be a really good show for you.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the 1950s and things that play some songs from the 50s. We're going to play the number one overall song. Miss Val, you got any guess? What was the number one song, the most sold song? I won't say number one. The most sold record in the 1950s.
Was it Elvis Presley something?
Nope.
Nope.
Howie, you got any guesses?
I would say it would be something by maybe. Well, wait a minute now. I got to rewind my memory.
Well, here's what's weird about it. Okay, from 1950 to 1959, from 1950 to 1960, we're gonna do number one songs each year. This song actually was not a number one song of the year. It did go to number one, but it was not a number one song of the year. But it was the most sold 45
I can't imagine
in the 1950s, and it was the first record ever Don't nobody go Googling it and giving me the answer by Friday morning. It was the first record ever, Howie, that sold 1 million copies in the UK.
In the UK?
Yes.
Huh.
Okay, what's the answer?
I'm not telling you. You got to tune in Friday.
I can't Google it because I don't have a computer.
Well,
I'm
good.
Googling
Good.
that.
You'll just have to you'll have to think about it and guess on Friday, won't you?
Yeah, I'll give it a lot of thought.
All right. Sounds good.
But you were talking about things that you did back then, and my mother always told me that if you get in trouble, don't even call me. You're in trouble.
That's right.
They can just throw away the key and don't call me.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that kept me pretty straight.
That works.
Yeah.
That works.
Yeah.
Don't even call me. Don't call me.
Yeah.
So, all right, buddy.
Okay, Frank,
nice hearing
good
from you.
talking to you.
All right, same here,
and
Howie.
Valerie, I'm glad to talk to you, too.
Oh, I'm glad to. Take care.
All right, buddy.
Bye-bye.
See ya. Yeah, Howie used to call just about every day when I hosted. When I used to host Teleforum. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's kind of it's like riding a bike though. See,
Yeah. Oh.
this is like riding a bike.
Yeah.
I haven't done this in 3 years, 2 years. I don't know.
I've got to get back on.
But you're
track.
helping me, so you got all the content. I'm just the comedic relief here.
Oh, okay. Well, speaking of him being 84, we're going to talk about the golden years. What is the golden years?
All right.
The key to a high quality life is health, money, and a meaningful, relatively right state of mind. I mean, is that enough? No, it doesn't. But it doesn't mean you have to be in an award-winning body shaper, have enough money to buy an island, or have a lot of old dead presidents in your bank account, or master the meaning of life and shelter up in a mountain in Tibet or see Oz. It means being able to get out of bed, both feet on the ground, and have enough money to treat yourself to a senior Happy Meal from McDonald's, put gas in your car, and be able to count the candles on your birthday cake in one breath. What do you think about that?
I agree 100%.
I'm sure that my listening audience today remembers the Golden Girls from 1985 to 1992. Millions of TV viewers tuned in each week to the Golden Girls so they could catch the latest escapades of 4 older women, Blanche, Dorothy, Rose, and Sophie, sharing a home in Miami. The award-winning NBC sitcom derived its name from the phrase golden years, typically applied to the retirement phase of our lives. But where did golden years, Golden Girls come from? Well, I did a little research.
Okay.
And Del Webb and his company is referred back on New Year's Eve of 1959. And they revolutionized retirement living in the United States through the Sun City brand of communities, coined the golden years, that cast retirement as a time for leisure. So instead of dreading the years of decline, retirement would become something people longed for. The Washington Post explained in a 2005 article, through the magic of marketing, retirement no longer meant only the end of work. It was sold as the beginning of a new, even better life. So more than 50 years after Webb and his team invented golden years concept, the phrase remains part of our retirement-related vocabulary. Generally speaking, golden years start at 65 and last until 80 and beyond. Older Americans live longer now than they ever did. In 1960, people celebrated being over 100 years old. Now, because of technology and the leaps and bounds of medicine, there was a TV show a couple months ago, and a lady was 110 or something ridiculous. And all of her children were there. They all were living. They were 85, and I mean, but Mom was just shaking her head and smiling, so and every one of her children were still living.
Wow.
That was amazing.
I got to call you out here, though.
Okay, what's that?
You're talking about golden years, and you're saying golden years is retirement. And earlier you said you think you're in your golden years.
Well,
but
I am retired.
You are never going to retire.
Well,
never.
I was told that I had to come to realization that this is retirement because now I'm my own boss. So is that true?
No, because I was my own boss for 25 years, and
so maybe I'm not in my golden years.
Well, see, then I retired and I came to play radio.
See? Okay, well then maybe I'm not in my golden years.
No,
I'm just aging gracefully.
Right.
Okay.
I can't. Come on, everything you do and everything you're about, I cannot see Ms. Val ever retiring. You will always be there to help somebody.
I want to be. I do want to be there.
Yeah.
Truly. So if I were to give you a quiz right now, let me see how you would fare.
All right.
Okay, and you got to answer the questions truthfully.
All right.
To what extent do you find your life to be meaningful? Do you think your life is meaningful?
Very.
Very. So do I. Very meaningful. Do you have enough money to meet your needs?
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to have just a tad bit more. I'd like to help some more people and be able to.
You said to meet my needs.
Okay, you're right. Not my wants, my
Right,
needs. You're right. Thank you for clarifying. How satisfied are you with your ability to perform your activities of daily living?
Very.
Now, I had and we were laughing about just not long ago, I had a bad sciatica attack.
I remember. Yes.
You remember that?
Mhm.
Yeah. That brought me to my knees, literally.
Yes, it does.
Literally, yeah. And it made me slow down a bit. And what happened to you after you made fun of me? I can't remember. Refresh my memory.
Sciatica started.
So, is enough money, good health, and meaningfulness in life all you need to be happy in your golden years? Is that all you need? Well, you
No.
think you need anything else? What else you need?
Family.
Family. Absolutely.
Friends.
Absolutely. You couldn't do this on the earth by yourself.
No.
Yeah.
Wouldn't want to.
It wouldn't want to. And how healthy is your physical environment?
Adequate.
Adequate. All right, I'll go with that. And how satisfied are you with your conditions of your mental state?
Adequate. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, see,
I'm satisfied.
I worry about my mental state because I do have a tendency to wear my feelings on my shoulders, and that has not gone away. It's not good.
I've learned, I've had some recent things with anxiety and stuff like that. So, as I'm sure everybody knows, there's been a lot of changes around here.
Yeah, a lot of changes.
So I've had a lot of anxiety issues, thinking they were heart issues. So I've learned a lot over the last few weeks, shall we say?
Yeah, and
So,
see,
yeah.
and that's what me starting my own business in a nonprofit. I had a lot of naysayers. I had people actually come to me and say, "Do you really think you can do this?" Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Instead of "Congratulations, I hope everything goes well."
Well,
so that
and that's the difference in society today
yes,
too.
that is
Back in the day, and I'll share this with you real quick here before we got to go to a break before news. There was a man that was very influential in my life, and you were talking about. I told you I have my own business and I retired. If it wasn't for one man who was a huge person in Beaver County, that I'm just this little fish in a pond, none other than Mr. William Camp, I would have never had my business because our boss at the time had a problem with substance abuse and just kind of left us. Mr. Camp says to me through a friend of mine, Rich Mamoni, he says to me, "Hey, you ever think about starting a floor business?" And I was like, "No." He goes, "Well, I'm going to help you start one."
Wow.
And that launched it. But what meant even more than that, and this is what we're talking about, response, what you mean in other people's lives and what you do for others and moving forward.
Yes.
But what was even more of an honor to me that I felt that man felt the way he did for me was, and God rest his soul, was the fact that when he sold those stores to corporate Giant Eagle, what's he care? He's getting his money. He's doing whatever.
Yeah.
But one of his conditions was that I was taken care of and that I still was able to have the floor contracts and I was able to continue cleaning.
Yeah.
So that goes to show you that's what the type of people we have around here.
Exactly.
That's the type of person my dad was. That's the type of person I believe you are.
Yeah.
And that's the type of person I strive to be.
Yeah.
So that's why I push
huge.
the way I push.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's, that's the type of people. And that's why when people talk about Beaver County and that's the kind of thing that makes me proud to say, I live in Beaver County and I will never leave Beaver County.
Me too.
So, all right, what are we going to talk about after news?
We're going to talk about confidence.
Confidence.
That's
all
good.
Right.
Good lead off.
All right, phone lines will be open at 724-774-1888 and 843-1888. We're going to take a very short break, and then we're going to have news with Curtis Walsh.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield and Allegheny Health Network are pleased to present a new show on Beaver County Radio called Heroes. Tune in every Saturday at 10 and Sunday at 12:30 for Heroes, a wonderful half-hour segment hosted by Jim Roddy that profiles many of the local heroes in this community. Click highmark.com for more information and then tune in for Heroes this Saturday at 10 and again Sunday at 12:30 on WBVP, WMBA, and 99.3 FM.
Beaver County Radio's news source, 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com. Here's Curtis Walsh.
Good morning. We can expect mostly cloudy skies today with a high near 47. We'll have a complete Beaver County Radio weather forecast after this look at news. The ramp from 3rd Avenue to Route 65 North in Freedom was closed just after 6 a.m. this morning following a fatal accident involving a struck pedestrian. Beaver County 911 reported that the coroner had been called to the scene. We have no further details at this time. Hopewell School Board heard an update on Hopewell Elementary School concerning rodents and bacteria. Here's Beaver County Radio News correspondent Sandy Giordano with more.
A special presentation was presented to the school board's work session to update the board and students and parents on the problems at the school that may have caused gastrointestinal illnesses to students prior to Christmas break, necessitating virtual learning from December 19th to the 22nd of 22. Bill King, FMS Building Contractor Manager, and Mike Copar, PSI Program Manager of Environmental Services, outlined all the steps taken to determine the source of the bacteria and found 2 rodents and droppings in a boys' bathroom wall. Every area of the school was checked for rodents in the building. On December 31st, 2022, Bactronics went through the school. Crestwell Heights Water Authority came in the school, and normal molds were found at the school. And PA Department of Health was contacted, and the district followed all the guidelines necessary. Superintendent Dr. Jeff Belts told those present that the district will continue to work and monitor the situation. This is Sandy Giordano reporting for Beaver County Radio.
The Pennsylvania Department of Transportation announced that all driver's license and photo centers, including its full center service in Harrisburg, will be closed Saturday, January 14th through Monday, January 16th in observance of Martin Luther King Day. Customers may still obtain a variety of driver and vehicle products and services, including all forms, publications, and driver training manuals online through PennDOT's Driver and Vehicle Services website, dmv.pa.gov. The city of Beaver Falls is looking to make some progress in 2023. Matt Durzik explains the details from Tuesday night's council meeting.
The Beaver Falls City Council was presented with a presentation by Kate Green of Atlas Community Studios in regards to the progress and plans of some of the city's newest businesses. One of those plans includes the moving of Neighborhood North Museum of Play to the old News Tribune building next to the Carnegie Free Library.
The News Tribune is a very iconic building, and seeing that kind of come back to life with its connectivity to March Park and the library is going to be really powerful. And so we were able to build some tools that will help Neighborhood North accomplish those goals through both the business plan, a toolkit that will help them in their capital budgeting, which can sometimes be a little bit tricky, helping them navigate tax credits and things like that that will help pull the multi-million-dollar project together. And then, of course, again, a list of funding sources that would support for Neighborhood North their organizational growth.
The full story from last night's meeting can be found at beavercountyradio.com. From Beaver Falls, I'm Matt Durzik for Beaver County Radio News.
Here's the Beaver County forecast on 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com.
We can expect mostly cloudy skies today with a high near 47. We'll have a slight chance of showers tonight after 8 with otherwise mostly cloudy skies and a low of 39. Showers tomorrow mainly after 1 p.m. with a high of 54. And snow showers likely Friday mainly in the morning with cloudy skies and a high near 37. It'll be mostly sunny Saturday with a high near 34. Here at 10:35, it's 36 degrees, and we've got sunny skies in Beaver County on this Wednesday, January the 11th, 2023. That's a look at the news for now. I'm Curtis Walsh on 99.3 FM, 95.7 FM, 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming live around the world at beavercountyradio.com.
Where the listeners of Beaver County have a voice. Teleforum with Eddy Crow, 724-843-1888, 724-774-1888.
And you're welcome to call in this morning and join in on the conversation. Ms. Valery McElvy is our special guest host this morning. I'm Frank Sparks here on Beaver County Radio. And don't forget, coming up Friday night, it's high school basketball. As this week, we are going to stay in town as the Beaver Falls Tigers will be hosting the Elwood City Wolverines. So tune in. 7 o'clock will be airtime. Tip-off scheduled for 7:30 here on Beaver County Radio. It'll be Mike Azadian and Bruce Fry on the call of that game as well. So make sure you tune in. And then don't forget, tune in tomorrow morning, Thursday morning. Jimmy Miller will be here. He'll be the guest host. It is Rapping with the Reps. So far, we know that Jim Marshall is scheduled to be on the program with us tomorrow. Also, tomorrow, the guest, Josh Kell, for the Best of Beaver County as well tomorrow. So lots going on. And then Notes on Entertainment with Jimmy and also Scott Tatey from the Beaver County Times. And Dina Miller will be on, and they'll be talking about their new original song that they have out. So we have that and much more. But let's get back to the fun times here and talk with Miss Valery McElvy. And as we said, the phone lines are open at 724-774-1888 and 843-1888. So we've been all around. We talked about the golden years. We talked about aging gracefully. Where are we going now?
Self-confidence.
Self-confidence. Okay.
Researchers concluded health, finances, and relatively stable state of mind directly affects our quality of life. That's our buzzword now in this 2022.
Quality of life. Yep.
Emotional support and purpose in life also matter along with self-confidence. It makes us feel more confident, and there's nothing wrong with confidence, especially when it comes to aging. The most attractive accessory a person can have is self-confidence. I do a lot of, I bet you can't believe this, but I do a lot of speaking engagements.
Really?
And yeah, I know you wouldn't believe that.
I thought that was your alter ego.
Yeah, no, well, you know what? Today I'm Valery McElvy. I'm not very often her. I'm usually somebody else.
It's the woman of many personalities.
Yes, but self-confidence is very important, no matter what age. You got to feel, and there's times when I wake up and I'm not feeling very self-confident, but my clients and clientele, we're at your service, they're not looking for my side that's in doubt. They want to see self-confidence. They want to feel that I'm listening and feel for what they're feeling. Yeah, so it's important to have that. Things like, now I know what you're thinking. Things like exercise on a regular basis, eat lots of fruits and vegetables, don't smoke or drink alcohol, make sure you drink lots of water, get plenty of sleep, control your blood pressure, blah, blah, blah. We know all that. And these are things that are ingrained in us from day one. By following this model, you may go to the grave well preserved, but you were probably bored as heck, you know?
Well, you know what? Every time you're talking about these people, and what was it, 73,000 in the United States are 100 years old.
Yeah.
Every time I see somebody that's celebrating their 100th birthday, they usually got a can of beer or a glass of wine in their hands.
The gentleman who just passed that started 84 Lumber, they said he passed away with a cigar.
Mr. Hardy, yes.
Yes.
And they were playing, I can't remember what type of music was his favorite, but they were playing music and just having a good time as he passed away.
This is what I'm saying. It's about living large and living fun.
Right.
And having fun.
Well, did you see the woman, and she drank a beer every day?
Yeah.
115 years old. She just, in Idaho, she just passed away last week.
Yes.
She was the oldest person in the United States.
Is that amazing?
Drank a beer every day. Now, I could see a glass of wine, but
a
talking,
beer?
Yeah. And you're talking about an older woman.
We when I was director of the Retired Senior Volunteer Program, my boss, who is now gone, we went to the nursing home and we were singing Christmas songs. And everybody there they were all women, of course, and everybody there was in a wheelchair. And we didn't want paperwork looks like you're not prepared. So I try not to have paper in front of me. So we were there singing songs, the first verse of every Christmas song. And her name was Hilda. And Hilda's doing like this, and we were singing a song, and we stopped. And she goes, "Excuse me, You young ladies don't know all 5 verses of that song. She sang all 5 verses. 115 years old.
Wow.
We were in awe. You know?
Nothing wrong with that, man.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with that. I see my mom getting there.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
So by following this model, again, you're going to be well preserved. And this model only works if your aging gracefully is 100%.
Okay.
About appearance and 0% about living. Well, we're going to talk about a few things that might change your mind.
Now, before we talk about that, throw your headphones back on. We got a caller.
Okay.
We got to wait for Miss Val to put her headphones back.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay, you ready? All right. Good morning. You're on Teleforum.
Good morning.
Miss Deborah, what's happening?
Oh, nothing much. I want to say congratulations to you, Frank. I hope everything goes well for you in your new position.
Oh, thank you. Yes. I'm looking forward to it. Unfortunately, you won't hear much of me, but, you know, my days of this are over.
We hear a lot of you this week.
Yes.
I wanted to say good morning to Valerie. How are you doing, Miss Valerie?
Well, good morning. Doing fine.
Good. I listen to you from time to time, and I'll tell you what, you have some really good insight and really good encouragement when I hear you speak. I mean, it's
stroke
really
her ego some more.
uplifting.
Yes. Keep stroking her ego, Deborah. Come on. Keep stroking her ego, Deborah. Come on.
No, I'm being serious.
She knows I'm just pulling her
appreciate
chain.
some of the things that that I hear, and it's like, wow.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. Thank you very, very, very much.
And I wanted to tell you, you were mentioning, you were mentioning about the Golden Girls.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I was working, when I get off from like afternoon shift, and I would turn on the TV at night, they would crack me up. And you know what? To this day, I still watch the Golden Girls, and sometimes they put me to sleep at night.
Wow. I mean, they made the golden years look great, and they can be.
But you had the ultimate golden girl of all, in Betty White.
Yes.
I mean, look how long she. Yes. I mean, she was a spitfire to the end.
To the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she did that Hot in Cleveland program.
Yes.
Right.
And sometimes I'll watch the old Match Game. Like, if I have nothing to do, I'll turn on the Match Game, the old one.
Mm-hmm.
And you see her on there when she was younger.
Yep.
She was something else.
Yeah.
She was on all those. Get her on there. You get her on Hollywood Squares. Different games. Yeah.
And she played on Mama's Family.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to Friday, by the way, Mr. Frank.
Awesome.
So,
hey,
I don't want to take up your time, Miss Valerie, and it's good to hear you on the radio.
Thank you.
It's
Thanks for your
refreshing.
support. Thank you.
And and God bless you, Val, and good luck with you, Frank, and God bless you, and maybe I'll call in Friday if I'm able to.
I hope so. I'll have to come hunt you down if not.
Well, I think one of those songs, you were talking to, I will say this. I have a feeling it's one of the Twist songs.
No.
Oh. I thought that was it.
Nope.
Okay, well then we'll forget.
I'll give you this. I'll give this one clue to everybody else. I'll give another clue. It's a one-hit wonder.
Oh, it's a one-hit wonder.
Yes.
Oh. I'm Googling this.
The Bopper.
No, it's not the Big Bopper.
No, not the Bopper.
Nope.
Okay, all right, I'm done. All right,
All right.
Well, listen, Valerie and Frank, you both have a blessed day.
You too.
And thank you for what you're doing. This is a nice, refreshing week.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, we
You're
enjoy
welcome.
it.
Bye-bye.
All right, see you.
Well, this is great because now my skin is crawling. How nice to hear the positive things. So I'm going to give you some personal tips. Now, this is for you, Frank.
Okay.
Accept the change that aging, it is inevitable.
I don't care about it.
You don't care? Okay. All right.
I mean, I care about what you have. Don't take that the wrong way.
Oh, no,
I care about what you have
no,
to say, but I could care.
Yeah,
I know I'm going to age and I could care
That's
less.
good. But there's people who fret about it.
Yeah.
Oh,
my God, it's my 40th birthday.
I know.
I'm going to turn 50.
What's going to happen to me?
Meanwhile, I'm the one standing there dancing while they're having my 50th birthday party, not caring.
See, that's how you need to be.
Right.
And then that brings me to the next one. Prepare for life with a sense of humor. There's going to be a lot of weird stuff happening to our bodies as we age that if we don't laugh about it, we're going to cry about it.
That's true.
Yeah, that sciatica, I can't even begin to tell you. I'd have another baby before I'd have another sciatica.
You reminded me of Mr. Magoo. That's how bad you were.
Yes.
She's all crying.
I
I was like, oh, poor Miss Val.
It was like a rubber band is pulling, you know.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And make sound decisions. Ask for forgiveness for those not so sensible decisions made in the past. As my friend always says, every decision is not necessarily a good decision.
Correct.
All right. And any age can learn by that. Be authentic. Accept and be proud of yourself. There is no shame in my game, Frank. Not a bit.
No, there's not.
Remember, the most attractive quality one can have is self-confidence. Do things that make you happy. Don't do things that you know are going to make you unhappy. Be selfish sometimes. I think that's a good rule. Just be, it's about you sometimes.
Right.
Choose your attitude. I learned this as a past job, and I still think of this every day. Only I have the ability to make my day great. Nobody else.
True.
Nobody else. And only I have the ability to change my bad day into a good day by choosing to have a positive attitude. There was a person that came in my shop once, and she was 86, and she had been a school bus driver. And she was telling me all her stories, and we're laughing, and I'm listening. I do listen very well, and I'm listening. Well, I had 2 clients come in who were horrible clients, horrible. And we had to say some unkind words and some bad words, and because I had to get these people out of the shop. I forgot that the 86-year-old lady was there. And when the people left, I forgot.
Uh-oh.
I changed my expression and everything. We got loud, and the people were very rude. So they left. And when I brought myself back to myself, I turned and looked at her, and she said to me, "Oh, my goodness, are you okay?" And I said to her, "Are you okay?" I mean, I changed my appearance, but she brought me back to reality, that 86-year-old. And then I felt bad that I had to show that other side. But she was concerned about me.
Yeah.
That was deep. Have a core purpose. What is your fundamental reason for being? What's engraved in your heart and your mind? Be you because you are the only one who knows you. Now that's deep. No one else knows you better than you.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Twain said, "We can't reach old age by using another man's road. It's your road."
True.
Yeah.
True.
Forgive yourself and others. I can't even express how simple this statement has saved me a lot of unnecessary stress. I'm sure you've all heard that forgiveness doesn't mean that you deny others responsibility for hurting you. It doesn't minimize or justify the wrong. Forgiveness is the intentional and voluntary process by which a victim undergoes a change in feelings and attitude regarding an offense. The victim lets go of their own negative emotions. The relief of forgiveness provides us with the weight of the world being lifted off of our shoulders. I think that's my hardest thing in life is forgiving myself. I can forgive someone else, but I can't forgive myself for doing something foolish or like when I spoke that way in front of this lady, I wanted her forgiveness because I should not have allowed that to happen.
Right.
I reacted.
Right.
And give love and receive love. That's
right.
Can't be any deeper than that.
One of the things that I live by, and it's kind of a little bit about what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Choose to live my own road and take my own road,
Mm-hmm.
but part of my road is to be a reflection of my father.
Oh.
Because of what he was, you know what I mean? Because the way he raised us, and you don't realize these things till after the fact.
Of course not.
Like my dad, for instance, he worked in a grocery store. Okay, he was a manager of a grocery store, and as a kid, I didn't pay no attention to it. But my dad and I shared a love for baseball.
I'll be darned.
So my dad work all day long. He had bad back sometimes, and he would still come home. We'd have dinner, and a lot of nights we'd pack in a car and we'd go up to Brady's Run and watch baseball games. He worked for Shop and Save at the time. They had a baseball team, so we'd always go to the games, and that was kind of one of our things we shared. But then there was other times where my dad worked all day long. You'd have no clue he worked all. Who knows what happened in his day? As a kid, I didn't know.
No.
Dad, want to go out in the backyard and throw football? Want to go out in the backyard and throw baseball? My dad's the first one there. And then as you get older, you realize that, wait a minute, what was going on in his life? He didn't care at that time. He cared more about going out in the backyard and throwing football or throwing baseball or just spending time with you or even laying on and people laugh at me for this. And please don't laugh at me for this.
I won't.
And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
We would lay on the floor and we would listen to records. And you know what we listened to all the time?
What?
This is what I get laughed at for. Jonathan Livingston Seagull.
Wow.
My dad and I used to listen to that all the time.
Wow.
Just lay on the floor, lights out in the living room, and we just lay there and listen to it.
Wow.
But just those kinds of things in a way that my dad acted, that's how I want to be.
Yeah.
And that's how I live my life, to try to be that way. That makes sense.
It does make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things that my dad, I take his work ethic. The man worked, only thing I remember, and they weren't bad feelings or memories, he worked 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
He worked at Valvoline, and then he worked in every single house in New Brighton fixing. He was a jack of all trades, and as far as I thought, he was a master of none but jack of all.
Right.
And his work ethic, I mean, you work to make a living, and you do for others.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and those are the memories. And he never brought his work problems home. I never
No.
heard him complain about
No.
work.
Never.
You know?
Never.
Never.
And it's just, that was, you never heard those.
So where did he take it to? I mean,
Your mom?
I
After you went to bed?
after it must have been. It must have been.
They say that's a very healthy part of a relationship, is to be able to vent about your work things to your other half.
Now, my husband, he was a stickler on that. He did not bring his work problems home. The kids would not know. The boys would
Right.
not know any work problems. There was no discussion of that at the dinner table. And then that's another
Right.
thing. How many people are still eating dinner together?
We do every night.
Do you?
Yes.
That's awesome. That's
Well,
awesome.
now, I know it sounds weird, but it was something that we always did. Was we always had off in the corner somewhere, we always had KDKA News on with Bill and Patty Burns. Remember?
Yes, I do remember that.
Yeah, we always had that on as kids, and still to this day, that's what's on the television while we're having dinner. Even though, and it's down low,
Yeah.
we're having discussions.
Yeah.
But when we're talking about our days and stuff like that, but that's still what the news is on.
Right.
Still KDKA too.
Still KDKA.
Right.
Now, my grandmother was my very large influence, and she taught me so much, and I miss her desperately. But that older influence, I wish and pray that every child has that kind of influence from an older family member. It goes deep.
Well, you know what? Not even family member. Like
an older person.
Right.
Right.
When I was
right.
growing up, I had this gentleman lived right beside me. His name was Frank Tooch, an older guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to just go sit on the back porch, listen to Pirate Game with him. And
Mm-hmm.
he always had, it was funny, he always had his coffee and a shot of whiskey in his coffee. Didn't matter what time of the day it was, 8 o'clock in the morning.
It was 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, and he could always, and that was just, I would go sit on the back porch and talk to him. Yeah. And that was just something, and I've always been that way. I just always have liked to soak in their experiences.
Yeah.
You hear stories that are cool stories that you remember as you get older in life,
Right.
I was a weird kid, I guess, because I spent a lot of time with my mom too.
Yeah.
My mom and I used to hang out together. I actually, I hung out with my friends. It got to the point when I got older, my mom told me, get out, go find friends.
Go find friends. See?
Yeah, because my mom and I used to do everything together. We'd go to the movies,
Yeah.
She used to always take me to see the Bad News Bears.
See, that's my grandmother. My grandmother, I had those memories, and we watched, her TV was real small, like you had to be real close, and we watched wrestling. That's what we watched.
Right, yeah, no
was
doubt. So, and one of, now, hopefully she's not listening because she'll get mad at me.
Mm-hmm.
But my mom actually took me inadvertently to see my first ever dirty movie.
Get out of here.
Yes.
On purpose?
No, inadvertently.
Oh my
Like, she did not do it on purpose.
Oh, my goodness.
We went to see Caddyshack, and she had no idea that there would be some nudity in there.
Caddyshack.
Movie was funny as all get out. But that was the first time, and I'll be honest with you, my mom and I, we both had our head between our legs because we were laughing so hard the whole movie.
Get out of here.
But everybody laughs, and she gets mad when I tell everybody that she showed me.
And now it's on, for all this listening people.
Yeah. Now that that's just common nature that you see some girls' boobs hanging.
Well,
out.
wait a minute, and then Caddyshack now. I mean, there's far worse than
they just
than
smoke
that.
pot right on TV now. Who cares? Oh yeah, it's good stuff for you.
Oh. Boy, have things changed. Boy,
a lot.
Have they changed.
A lot. I mean, and that's part of. I don't know. I mean, it kind of stinks in a way because when you think about it, today's generations don't want to suck in all that knowledge.
No, they don't.
So when we go, does that knowledge go with us? What's the world going to be like? That's kind of things I trust me, I don't stay up at night worrying about.
Yeah,
it. But,
right.
But those are the kinds of things my mind goes to. So what's the world going to be like without us?
I wonder about that. We like I said, and when we had the retired senior volunteer program, we did go to nursing homes. We went to this one, and there was a lady there. She was the last surviving member of her family, and she was from Spain.
Mm-hmm.
She actually came over on a boat.
Oh, wow.
She still spoke Spanish, and we stopped doing our activity because she was real quiet. She wanted to tell stories of her childhood. How could you not listen to that?
Right, exactly.
There was no one left to share that.
You said about carving your own path in life and carving who you are in life.
Mm-hmm.
People don't have the understanding, I don't think, and the knowledge to understand it. But at the end of the day, when it's your time and you're gone, what happens?
What happens?
The cars are still going to drive up 7th Avenue.
Still, yes.
The lights are still going to turn on.
Yes. The sun still
the world's
shines.
The world's still going to go round.
Yes.
You just won't be here no more.
That's it.
So it's how you, to me, it's how you make people remember you when you're not here no more.
I want to remember when I was doing a program called Chick Click, and it was teaching abstinence in middle school girls.
I remember that.
You remember that?
Yeah,
yes.
I do. I didn't know that was you. Okay.
Those girls were every so often, as old as I am, I'll be somewhere, and they'll recognize me obviously because my mental state, and they'll go, Miss Val, and I'll go, you have got to be kidding me, and they'll thank me.
Yeah.
Thank you for your wisdom. I didn't think I was wise then, you know.
Well, I mean, we live in a generation that they hop in bed first and find out who you are later.
Yes, yeah. And
you know?
She was grateful, and that's happened more than a handful of times.
I tell people that all the time. I respect my wife more for the fact that now my wife's 10 years younger than me, and I was already married once. Okay, so it wasn't like, that I had never been there.
Right.
But my wife, before we got intimate, it was a year.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the fact that she made me work for it more than that.
Yeah.
And know that we were getting married.
Right.
Now, we probably should have waited till we got married. But,
But things change, though.
Right. But you don't see that in society today.
You
don't see kids that say, okay, well, I'm not just going to, I want to know who you are.
Yeah.
I'm not just going to hop in the sack with you.
And these girls, these were middle school girls.
Yep.
When I think back at it, and a couple girls, took the wrong move, but we celebrated the successes as well as we celebrated those who were sorry that they went through it, but want to, take another chance,
But that's why marriages last a long time, and that's why I think mine's successful is because my wife's my best friend. Why is she my best friend? Because we got to know each other for a year before we got intimate.
Right. And
that's
getting
part
to know the other person is so important. So important.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt. So.
Yeah.
All right, what are we talking about next hour? We got one more hour to go.
Yeah, you know what? Then we're going to have to talk stories because,
All right, stories.
All right, yeah.
We want to hear from you, too. 724-774-1888 and 843-1888. This is Beaver County Radio. It is coming up on 10:58, and it is getting a little warming up a little bit out there, so we are currently sitting, let's get a updated temperature, 36 degrees here in Beaver County. Partly cloudy skies and a high of 49 today. And then on Thursday, 52 degrees with rain, which is tomorrow. And then Friday, possibly snow showers and a high of 37 degrees. And we'll be back with hour number 3 of Teleforum. It's Frank Sparks along with Valery McElvy, who is guest host today for the vacationing Eddy Crow.
Tune in to Live Mike with Mike Romai, presented by Heritage Valley Health System. Weekdays from 6:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. It's an all-new show on Beaver County Radio, where Mike discusses the issues important to Beaver County.
Urinated at a car wash in front of children. Oh, yeah, and police officers.
I think it's the end of society as we know. I think it's one of the signs of the apocalypse.
There's also special guests, weather, sports with Matt Durzik, and news every half hour with Curtis Walsh. So tune in to Live Mike with Mike Romai, weekdays, right here on Beaver County Radio.
All right, coming up at the top of the hour here on Beaver County Radio, it's 11 o'clock. It's a beautiful day out there. Obviously, it's colder than what it looks, but it's still beautiful.
You're listening to 95.7 FM, 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, in addition to 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls and 1460 WMBA Ambridge.
to coast today, all because of computer trouble at the Federal Aviation Administration.
The FAA ordered all departing flights grounded early this morning, but lifted that order just before 9 a.m. However, delays and cancellations continue to snowball. More than 4,300 flights were delayed and more than 780 canceled. While the White House initially said that there is no evidence of a cyber attack, President Biden said, "We don't know," and called for an investigation. The FAA said its notice to air missions system went down and had to be restored. Julie Walker, New York.
President Biden, he called former President Trump irresponsible over Mr. Trump's handling of sensitive government documents. Apparently has some issues of his own in that regard.
I was briefed about this discovery and surprised to learn that there were any government records that were taken there to that office.
Mr. Biden asked about the discovery of some classified documents in his office at the University of Pennsylvania. Says his lawyers acted appropriately, turning the papers over to the National Archives. House Majority Leader Republican Steve Scalise says there's no absence of irony, perhaps some hypocrisy in all of this.
When Vice President Biden left office, it looks like he took classified documents with him, and he was very critical of President Trump.
Launching a partisan attack on Mr. Trump. At least 17 people have lost their lives to the powerful storms that have raked California in recent days, and although the cleanup is underway, the state not out of the woods yet, with more storms expected this week. Governor Gavin Newsom says more than half of California's counties are included in a disaster declaration. Watching Wall Street, the Dow is up 13 points, the NASDAQ 52 points higher. More on these stories, townhall.com.
You know that your dollar doesn't go as far as it used to. At Key City Capital, we know that as well and would like you to know about investments we believe can make sense in an inflationary environment. For more details, check us out at keycitycapital.com. Key City offers passive investments in cash-flowing real estate that can help offer a hedge against inflation and stock market volatility. When prices rise, more couples and families further delay homeownership. Key City Capital owns thousands of rental units with attractive prospects for income and appreciation as more and more renters apply to live in their communities. Let the team at Key City Capital grow your wealth and diversify your investment portfolio. Connect with them today at keycitycapital.com or call 817-912-1569, 817-912-1569. Again, that's keycitycapital.com or call 817-912-1569, 817-912-1569. The fate of a devastated mining town in eastern Ukraine hangs in the balance. Ukrainian forces holding out against a furious Russian onslaught in what has become a bloody focal point of Putin's almost 11-month-old war.
Soledar, like its neighbour to the southwest, Bakhmut, has seen months of bitter attritional fighting. Ukraine insists Soledar hasn't fallen. It's also cast doubt on a photo of Prigozhin that Russian media say was taken in Soledar's salt mines. Capturing Soledar would give Russia a propaganda boost after months of bruising defeat. Analysts say if it happens, it would not mean Ukraine's supply lines to Bakhmut would be cut.
The BBC's Danny Aberhart. An attacker wounded 6 people in a knife attack in Paris's busy Gare du Nord train station this morning before being shot and wounded by police. No specific motive has currently been suggested by authorities. News and analysis at townhall.com. These egg prices, they're for the birds.
A lingering bird flu outbreak combined with soaring feed, fuel, and labor costs has led to U.S. egg prices more than doubling over the past year and hatched a lot of sticker shock on grocery aisles. The latest government data shows that the national average price for a dozen eggs hit $3.59 in November. That's putting stress on consumer budgets and the bottom line of food producers and restaurants that rely heavily on eggs as an ingredient. More than 43 million of the 58 million birds slaughtered over the past year to help control bird flu were egg-laying chickens. Keith Peters reporting.
Labor organizers are hoping this will be the year that Starbucks U.S. employees finally negotiate a union contract. However, bargaining at this point is at a standstill, and thousands of Starbucks workers still unconvinced of the union's value. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Beaver County Radio's news source. 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com. Here's Curtis Walsh.
Good morning. We can expect mostly cloudy skies today with a high near 47. We'll have a complete Beaver County radio weather forecast after this look at news. The ramp from 3rd Avenue to Route 65 north in Freedom was closed this morning just after 6 a.m. following a fatal accident involving a struck pedestrian. Beaver County 911 reported that the coroner was called to the scene. We have no further details at this time. The Hopewell School Board heard an update on Hopewell Elementary School concerning rodents and bacteria. Here's Beaver County Radio News correspondent Sandy Giordano with more.
A special presentation was presented to the school board's work session to update the board and students and parents on the problems at the school that may have caused gastrointestinal illnesses to students prior to Christmas break, necessitating virtual learning from December 19th to the 22nd of 22. Bill King, FMS Building Contractor Manager, and Mike Kopar, PSI Program Manager of Environmental Services, outlined all the steps taken to determine the source of the bacteria and found 2 rodents and droppings in a boys' bathroom wall. Every area of the school was checked for rodents in the building. On December 31st, 2022, Bactronics went through the school. Crestwell Heights Water Authority came in the school, and normal molds were found at the school. And PA Department of Health was contacted, and the district followed all the guidelines necessary. Superintendent Dr. Jeff Belts told those present that the district will continue to work and monitor the situation. This is Sandy Giordano reporting for Beaver County Radio.
The Pennsylvania Department of Transportation announced that all driver license and photo centers, including its full-service center in Harrisburg, will be closed Saturday, January 14th through Monday, January 16th in observance of Martin Luther King Day. Customers may still obtain a variety of driver and vehicle products and services, including all forms, publications, and driver training manuals online through PennDOT's Driver and Vehicle Services website, www.dmv.pa.gov. The city of Beaver Falls is looking to make some progress in 2023. Matt Durzik explains the details from Tuesday night's council meeting.
The Beaver Falls City Council was presented with a presentation by Kate Green of Atlas Community Studios in regards to the progress and plans of some of the city's newest businesses. One of those plans includes the moving of Neighborhood North Museum of Play to the old News Tribune building next to the Carnegie Free Library.
The News Tribune is a very iconic building, and seeing that kind of come back to life with its connectivity to March Park and the library is going to be really powerful. And so we were able to build some tools that will help Neighborhood North accomplish those goals through both the business plan, a toolkit that will help them in their capital budgeting, which can sometimes be a little bit tricky, helping them navigate tax credits and things like that that will help pull the multi-million-dollar project together. And then, of course, again, a list of funding sources that would support for Neighborhood North their organizational growth.
The full story from last night's meeting can be found at beavercountyradio.com. From Beaver Falls, I'm Matt Durzik for Beaver County Radio News.
New funding of $50,000 approved for the Beaver County-based Crop and Kettle will allow the nonprofit to expand resources for urban agriculture training, said Representative Rob Matzey. Matzey said the funding awarded under the 2022-2023 Pennsylvania Farm Bill Urban Agriculture Grant Program can help provide residents a path to productive jobs.
Here's the Beaver County forecast on 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com.
We can expect mostly cloudy skies today with a high near 47. We'll have a slight chance of showers tonight, mainly after 8 p.m. with otherwise mostly cloudy skies and a low around 39. Showers tomorrow, mainly after 1 p.m. with a high near 54. Snow showers likely Friday, mainly before 7 a.m. with otherwise cloudy skies and a high of 37. And mostly sunny skies Saturday with a high near 34. Here at 10 after 11, we've got hazy skies with a temperature of 36 degrees in Beaver County. That's a look at the news for now. I'm Curtis Walsh on 99.3 FM, 95.7 FM, 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming live around the world at beavercountyradio.com.
Now, it's time to talk on Teleforum on Beaver County Radio. 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, 99.3 FM, and beavercountyradio.com. And now, here is the host of the show, Eddy Crow.
Well, I'm not Eddy Crow, and I don't claim to be Eddy Crow, nor do I want to be Eddy. I'm Frank Sparks, along with Miss Valery McElvy, and we're here for Eddy Crow. I like that Eddie and I jazz each other. We have traditions amongst us on it. So I miss seeing him this week because we have a tradition that we do every day. I'm not going to talk about it on the air, but it's a morning greeting. Let's put it that way. So that's kind of what it is. So, but I miss seeing him this week. He'll be back next week though. So it'll be fun. So tune in next week for Teleforum. But for now, stay here as we've been talking about. I guess we've been all around. We've just been talking about life in general.
Yes. Yeah.
And experiences in life.
And since we're talking about this, my mom and dad I mentioned are not here anymore. But as we get older, there are some things that we have to do or things that happen in our lives that's out of our control. And before my mom and dad passed away, I was the caregiver for quite a bit of time. And I learned so much in that little gap because they were in their stages where they were ill. And my mother, I'll never forget my mother saying, "When did it change that I'm taking orders from you?" And I said, "Mommy, well, someone has to take the lead." And when I did take over the lead, and you hit the nail on the head, when you didn't know what your father was going through at work, and I didn't know what my father was going on at work, my mom and dad were having some financial issues that I wasn't aware of until I took care of them.
Right.
And when I would check on them every day, and my mother, who was the queen of drama, she says, "I don't understand what happened here." She says, "I think you're trying to take us to the poorhouse." "No, Mommy, you are in the poorhouse. No, I don't have to take you there."
Yeah. Well, that reminds me, like as a kid, you talk about that and you didn't know that. But as an adult, I found out after the fact, one of our family traditions, and I'm going to almost bet this is probably one of yours too.
Mm-hmm.
Every Sunday night, we always got together and watched World of Disney.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But our tradition was this. This is what we did. We'd all pow in a car, and we'd go down to Carver's Penny Candy Store on Oak Hill. Remember Carver's?
I do remember.
Okay. So we go down there, and 50 cents worth of penny candy was 50 cents worth of penny candy.
Yes, indeed.
Well, there were 6 of us. So 6 by 50, that's not,
Yeah.
So usually as being the squirt of the family, I'm the one that got last choice, and I'm also the one that got shorted out a piece of candy compared to the others. So, but after the fact, I never knew that usually my dad's payday was Monday. That was my dad's last money. That was the last money he had in his pocket. And he always made sure he had that 50 cents in his pocket so we could go get penny candy to watch the World of Disney. And I never knew that, but at that time, my dad worked in a grocery store. My mom was taking care of us, and then my mom started going to college to be a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
My mom actually didn't start being a teacher till I was in 6th grade, believe it or not. So, but it was just, that's the point, like you're talking about. They they kept, like we talked earlier, they kept that stuff from you. That was none of your business.
Yes.
And that's the way it was.
And that's the way it had to be. I mean, there was no, I didn't question it. And then when I inadvertently found out that things were bad, my mother was embarrassed. You're not supposed to know this.
Right. So, all right, put your headphones back on again.
Okay, all right.
I haven't got to say this in about 2 years, so we're going to say it now. We're going to actually run around the corner and talk with Charlie. Feels good to say that, Charlie.
Good morning.
What's
Val.
up?
Good morning, Frank.
Good morning.
Val, my alter ego sitting where you're sitting now is Charlie Dirt.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and I have a very humble gardening show once a month.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't get to hear the very first part of your show. I've enjoyed, everything I've got to listen to up till now.
Uh-huh.
But this is Charlie Dirt's tip to retain some youth and vitality is somehow, some way, if you possibly can, grow something.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
You know, and the thing is, and if you're living in an apartment or if you're in your own home and you're past the point that you can go out, and put in 50 tomato plants or anything like that, put in 1 or 2 plants of something you like. If you enjoy flowers, put some flowers in the ground. If you enjoy vegetables, 1 tomato plant, 1 pepper plant, and you can grow those things on a windowsill, whatever. And it's just, and I've noticed everything from preschoolers to octogenarians will go, if the thing's on the window, the first thing they do when they get their morning coffee is go look at the plant in the window, see if it needs a little drink of water, needs a little pruning, some dead leaves picked off or whatever. And it's just, as simple and humble as that sounds, it is something wonderful to look forward to.
I am glad that you said that because I am a fanatic about my garden. My husband goes, well, what is it that you're growing? I don't know. I just put seeds in the ground. I just want to see it grow. And you are so right. There's something magical about seeing something grow.
Right. Now, and the show this month, which is going to be, next Wednesday, 1 week from today, I am going to dedicate a portion of the show to growing things inside to help prevent the cabin fever, which the older you get, the quicker that sets in when the days get gloomy. But I'm going to dedicate that, more specifically, that segment to Gabby Sparks and her affiliates. The 4, 5, 6-year-olds are.
Hey, you know what? He's giving me a lot of activities to do.
Frank's older than that. I think Frank is between 7 and 8.
That's funny you say that because my wife says that all the time.
Yeah, and she probably says that Gabby is going to be 5 going on 15.
There you go.
Yeah. She always says that I'm supposed to be her dad, not her buddy.
Well, yeah, and not getting into all those things. I always had trouble disciplining my kids for something that I knew I had done.
I don't have trouble with that. Yeah, I don't have trouble with that, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm not talking about stealing cars or nothing. I'm
Right,
not petty stuff, because it seems so hypocritical. Why did you do that? And in the back of my mind, that the devil's on one shoulder and the devil's on the one shoulder. That you did it.
Yeah.
But yeah, grow something. And toward the end of my dad's life with us, unfortunately, he'd had a very serious heart attack, and he was in an extended care facility, and he had a little windowsill, and I took 1 flower in there and put it on the windowsill. And he got so much joy out of that. And I walked in, I went to see him every day, and I went in, and one day he was just sitting there just kind of gazing at the plant. I said, Dad, what's the matter? He says, I was sitting there watching, and that flower fell right off of that plant.
Wow.
Now, in your normal busy every day, you wouldn't even see that. For me, that was one of the focuses of his life when I wasn't there.
Right.
Wow.
So grow something, and you know what, you can go. You don't have to spend a lot of money. Go to the dollar store and get the cheap seeds. Put some dirt in the pot, put it on a windowsill, and like you said, just watch it grow. If it's a flower, enjoy it. If it's something you can eat, eat it.
Eat it.
There you
My
go.
goodness, very good. Thank you for that.
Stay safe, guys.
All right,
You
buddy.
too.
Thanks,
Bye.
Charlie.
My oldest son, whenever he watched as I was taking care of my mother and father, he said, I'm taking notes. I'm taking notes.
Well, I tell everybody, always make sure that, time's precious. And we talked about that all day. I think that's kind of part of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because you just don't know. You don't know when things are going to come to screeching halt.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
And one day they're here, one day they're not.
That's
so you
right.
got to love the time that they are here.
And I do want him to take good notes. I want him to have some good memories and say, oh, wow, I should have did this, or I can do this because my mom and dad told me. Hey, you know what? And I just got to tell the listening audience that I'm going to be interviewing Frank Sparks on Spotlight
Who's
on
that?
Seniors.
Oh, yeah, that's coming up.
And that's going to be on January 20th.
Okay.
And as the general manager, he's going to talk to us about how important this radio station is to seniors. I don't know if you have it broke down to your listening audience, but I'll never forget when I first started doing Spotlight on Seniors. I think I've been doing the radio show, 15 or so years?
It's been a while.
And a lady came on she called me, and she said, I just want to tell you, dearie, that I'm 85 years old, and that you come on at the same time I have my morning constitutional, so I listen to you while I'm in the bathroom. Wow.
Yeah, thanks. I call that the walk in the park.
So you have no idea how important the radio show is, and we're going to be talking to you on that day. And if I can put a shout out, I'm going to be working on having speakers come on my show. So it's only 30 minutes, and if someone has some insight on seniors or wants to share something, please call the radio station, and Frank will get a hold of me.
Yeah.
I would love to have you. We do pre-record, if I can say that. We pre-record at 8 o'clock in the morning on Fridays, and then you can listen to the show on Sunday at 11.
We're usually busy at worship at that time, aren't you, 11 o'clock?
Yes, there are some worshiping people. And when I very first started doing the show, I got reprimanded. Some people, I had two specific phone calls. How come you're not in church? I had to tell, I pre-record. I was in church.
Right.
So keep that in mind. And I do want to give a shout out to my husband. I don't think any of my families listen to the show, but we celebrated our 50-year anniversary on December 16th of
I didn't know that.
1972. We got married.
Wow. Well, congratulations.
And I think back, since the anniversary date, I've been reflecting on the life of 50. We dated for 3 years, and then we've been married for 50. And a lot of stuff has transpired in 50 years.
Yep.
And just like you said, something happened to one of us, the moon will still shine at nighttime. The sun still shines. Traffic will still be on 7th Avenue. But a lot of good memories.
Right. And that's, I mean, you talked about it earlier. Memories of your mom, your dad.
Yes.
Those are all things you carried with
Yeah.
you because you created those memories together.
Right, right.
I think that's part of the problem today is a lot of families don't create those memories.
No. And there's so many families that are dysfunctional. Not that mine wasn't dysfunctional, but single-parent homes are
that hurts.
Detrimental to these children. Detrimental.
Well, not even, but a lot of times now, see, I'm fortunate enough, like with Gabby, that my mother-in-law is retired, so she can, when Gabby's not in school, in preschool, she can be with her. But most of the people in this world, you got kids going to daycare, mom and dad are working.
Right.
Because you have to have, in today's society, mom and dad both have to work.
That's right.
So when you only have one parent in the house, that parent has to work double hard just to provide. So think about that. I mean, so, and that's where society, that's some of the things we need to correct in society,
And it can start with us.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I agree.
We
100%.
still have a chance.
Yeah.
And I think back at the older members of my aunt, I would write her notes because she was my favorite, Aunt Marion. Do you know she would take that note and correct it and send it back? I mean,
I got a mom that does that. English teacher.
And she was an English major.
Wow.
And it hurt my feelings then, but now I think back, what a teaching moment. No, you will not go on saying and writing the wrong things.
Well, my mom will not listen to me on the radio.
Why?
Because she tells me my English is poor.
She'd have to be correcting you.
Yeah, she listens, but she tells me, you got the most horrible English.
And see, so those are good moments. I mean, at the time that we're being corrected, it doesn't sound that way.
Right.
But when we think back, and I saved those notes where she would take a red pen and cross something out. So I don't know. I'm thankful for your caller in about the planning things because that is so important.
Yeah. Charlie, he does a lot of planning, and he's actually done a lot to teach me, because I'm not. I got anything but a green thumb. But he's given me activities, and he, like last year for Gabby's birthday, he bought her a gardening set, like a little kids gardening set, and her and I did some plants in the yard and stuff together last year, and some of them survived, some didn't.
What'd you grow?
We grew some tomatoes, we grew some peppers, and we attempted to grow pumpkins, but that didn't work out.
I've been trying to do that too. It doesn't work out.
Yeah, it didn't work out well. You know what'll happen 5 years from now? The pumpkins will come up.
They'll be yeah.
So that's how it always works. So, but
my grandmother, she loved watermelon. Absolutely loved watermelon. And I think back, she would always throw the seeds underneath the hedges. And every year we'd have watermelon plants. No watermelons, but we'd always have watermelon plants.
So what do you see for, I mean, realistically, because of the way Beaver County is. Back in the 70s and the 60s and the 50s and so on, the plants were huge, the steel mills. Those went away. Beaver County's changed a lot over those years. But in the end, the population has gone down to, about 160,000 now. But the majority of that has to be people over the age of 50 at this point.
It is.
So what do you see for Beaver County in the future? Do you see Beaver County? I mean, and we have a lot of new things that are coming and going, but will Beaver County succeed? Will Beaver County move forward without those people that have set those, the groundwork for Beaver County?
Well, and I believe we will, because I'm also a New Brighton Borough Council, and I'm in charge of loosely said, in charge of community life, and that's involving our community in its whole capacity. And so one of the things, because now I'm a senior, I'm very concerned that we continue to keep our seniors in mind when we have our projects, making sure that they are still our main focus. And I think if we do that, that will keep us going. It's when we forget our seniors.
Yeah.
And it's easy to do. So, we try to stay concerned about Dawes Manor and E.B. McNitt and Tom Bishop. We make sure that our projects include them. And that's what each community is going to have to do with us.
Right.
And that's funny, because I have a stat here. And by 2034, it's projected that older adults will outnumber those under 18 for the first time in U.S. history.
I believe that.
Yeah. So we have to make sure that we don't forget them. I have to shout out to Mike at Foodland. I mean, he delivers to the seniors. He personally delivers to the seniors.
Yes, he does.
And we have to. We just can't forget us.
No.
My neighbor was ill, and I didn't know it. She lives close to me, and I'm crazy about her. And I was in conversation with somebody about something else, and they said, "Did you hear that so-and-so was sick?" And I said, "Excuse me?" They didn't know that I knew her.
Yeah.
I immediately came home and called to see what was wrong. We have to take care of our elderly.
I agree.
I mean, there's no question.
Yeah, I agree.
But I don't know. Help me with what else can we do to make that happen?
Yeah. Well, it's one of my best friends is, and my whole neighborhood's tight-knit. So, everybody, fortunately, I'm the youngest in the neighborhood. Them guys, they're all probably sitting at home now. They're all retired while I'm working. Keep going. Keep working, Frank. Pay our Social Security. They got one guy works for the railroad. So he's like, I don't care. He worked for the railroad.
Yeah.
But, one of my best friends, he's in his late 70s.
Yeah.
Well, I won't say late 70s.
Yeah.
He'll be mad at me. He's in his mid 70s.
Yeah.
And we've been friends for a long time. We both share a love for cars.
Yeah.
And, even we don't see each other as much in the wintertime because, like I told you, the deck's the place we all hang out in the summer.
Right.
And he lives out back of me. So in the wintertime, I call him and he calls me just to see how things are going.
Right.
And, because you know what happened? You were talking about this, and that's why I wanted to share this. Well, I hadn't talked to him for a while, and I didn't know why one winter. Okay, because that's usually how, wintertime you don't see him.
Right.
And I didn't talk to him one winter. Well, no idea. We saw no activity coming from his house, no activity. He got hurt at work.
What?
And he was in a facility, in a nursing facility.
And you didn't even know?
Recouping. We had no idea. We finally found out like 2 weeks before he come home. And we never knew.
Wow.
Yeah.
See that?
So
and you're in a close-knit neighborhood.
And I keep an eye on him now.
Yeah. See, that's how I am. We did speaking of community life, we partner with the high school, and I, being the old head, I went up and I said I would work with the high school kids with some projects, and I did. And we did a cleanup project last April. But what the interesting part about this is, they said, "We want to call you Grandma." I wasn't offended.
Yeah.
I feel, and we stopped what we were doing and had in-depth conversations about weed and gun violence and everything else. But the thing of it is, I wanted them to know that I was listening to them as Grandma.
Right.
And that's what we have to do. If I could connect a grandma or a granddad with some of these young kids, I think that would be the key.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to take a break.
Okay.
What are we going to talk about when we come back?
I don't know. You got to tell me now.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I'm on the last page here.
On the last page of our memo.
Yes.
So, now, we got a lot we can talk about, some ideas of stuff. And
great.
How we'll just talk about life in general.
Okay.
Life in general in Beaver County. How's
Sounds
that?
good. Sounds good.
All right. Phone lines are open 724-774-1888 and 843-1888. We'll take your phone calls after we have news with Curtis Walsh. I'm Frank Sparks, along with guest host Valery McElvy, sitting in for Eddy Crow here today on Beaver County Radio.
And your future career begins at Life Steps Early Education Center, hiring child care assistants and preschool teachers for full-time, part-time, or substitute positions. Life Steps offers 100% paid health, dental, and vision premiums for full-time staff, making a difference in the lives of children for nearly 100 years. Call Life Steps today at 724-283-1010 or visit lifesteps.net. That's lifesteps.net to find out more. Life Steps is an equal opportunity employer.
It's always the right time to shop the Hopewell Shopping Center, no matter what the season, no matter what the reason. It's truly your neighborhood shopping place with such a large variety of businesses that offer food, shopping, fine dining and quick serving restaurants, personal services, and recreation. The Hopewell Shopping Center will be your one stop for everything you need whenever you need it. Just click on beavercountyradio.com, the Hopewell Shopping Center merchant directory, for a complete look of merchants today. And get shopping at your neighborhood shopping place, the Hopewell Shopping Center.
Wintertime is when performance matters the most. That's because water can turn to ice. This is the Aquaman of Beaver County, Jim Riggio from the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority. Whether it's fighting off the evils of underground pipes freezing or taking an extra shift on the ice during a power play, me and my team know how to react when it's on the line. From sinks to rinks, if it needs water this winter, you know you can depend on the Aquamen and women of Beaver Falls Municipal Authority. Click bfwater.net.
The best of Beaver County is easy to discover. It's right here on your radio. Tune in Beaver County Radio or watch the best of Beaver County live on Facebook or YouTube video this and every Thursday from 11 to 11:30. The program is made possible by St. Barnabas. For over 3 years now, the show has been dedicated to shining light on the great things going on right here in your neighborhood and the people that are making it happen. This Thursday, enjoy conversation and insight from an intriguing lineup of guests who are creating excitement and having an impact right here in Beaver County. Your friends and neighbors at St. Barnabas are pleased to support the best of Beaver County. The radio broadcast will also be replayed each week from 11:30 to noon on Sundays on Beaver County Radio. Archived Best of Beaver County videos can be viewed on the WBVP WMBA Facebook page. It's your chance to encounter the best of Beaver County with host Mike Romai this Thursday starting at 11. For more information, visit beavercountyradio.com. Beaver County Radio's news source, 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com. Here's Curtis Walsh.
Good morning. We can expect mostly cloudy skies today with a high near 47. We'll have a complete Beaver County radio weather forecast after this look at news. The ramp from 3rd Avenue to Route 65 North in Freedom was closed this morning just after 6 a.m. following a fatal accident involving a struck pedestrian. Beaver County 911 reported that the coroner was called to the scene. We have no further details at this time. The city of Beaver Falls is looking to make some progress in 2023. Matt Durzik explains the details from Tuesday night's council meeting.
The Beaver Falls City Council was presented with a presentation by Kate Green of Atlas Community Studios in regards to the progress and plans of some of the city's newest businesses. One of those plans includes the moving of Neighborhood North Museum of Play to the old News Tribune building next to the Carnegie Free Library.
The News Tribune is a very iconic building, and seeing that kind of come back to life with its connectivity to March Park and the library is going to be really powerful. And so we were able to build some tools that will help Neighborhood North accomplish those goals through both the business plan, a toolkit that will help them in their capital budgeting, which can sometimes be a little bit tricky, helping them navigate tax credits and things like that that will help pull the multi-million-dollar project together. And then, of course, again, a list of funding sources that would support for Neighborhood North, their organizational growth.
The full story from last night's meeting can be found at beavercountyradio.com. From Beaver Falls, I'm Matt Durzik for Beaver County Radio News.
The Pennsylvania Department of Transportation announced that all driver license and photo centers, including its full-service center in Harrisburg, will be closed Saturday, January 14th through Monday, January 16th in observance of Martin Luther King Day. Customers may still obtain a variety of driver and vehicle products and services, including all forms, publications, and driver training manuals online through PennDOT's Driver and Vehicle Services website, www.dmv.pa.gov. Aliquippa officials are refusing to comment on last week's incident involving police. Here's Beaver County Radio News correspondent Sandy Giordano with more.
Aliquippa Mayor Dwan B. Walker said that an incident that occurred in West Aliquippa last week is a personnel matter involving police officers, and officials can't comment. Social media posts were posted on the private West Aliquippa website. City Solicitor Marin Orsinovich couldn't be reached for comment. An executive session was held at the end of last Wednesday's council meeting concerning the police-involved matter. No new updates have been made available by the city. This is Sandy Giordano reporting for Beaver County Radio.
New funding of $50,000 approved for the Beaver County-based Crop and Kettle will allow the nonprofit to expand resources for urban agriculture training, said Representative Rob Matzey. Matzey said the funding awarded under the 2022-2023 Pennsylvania Farm Bill Urban Agriculture Grant Program can help provide residents a path to productive jobs. The United Way of Beaver County is once again assisting AARP in scheduling tax preparation appointments. The mission of AARP Tax Aid is to offer free tax help for taxpayers with low and moderate income. Membership in AARP is not required. Taxpayers may call the United Way of Beaver County office at 724-774-3210 to schedule an appointment Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And appointments can be scheduled for one of 3 locations this year, including locations in Beaver, Chippewa, and New Brighton. The United Way of Beaver County needs many volunteers to schedule appointments. If you can help for part of a day or several days, please call 724-774-3210 as soon as possible.
Here's the Beaver County forecast on 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com.
We can expect mostly cloudy skies today with a high near 47. We'll have a slight chance of showers tonight, mainly after 8 p.m., with otherwise mostly cloudy skies and a low around 39. Showers tomorrow, mainly after 1 p.m. with a high near 54. Snow showers likely Friday, mainly before 7 a.m. with otherwise cloudy skies and a high of 37. And mostly sunny skies Saturday with a high near 34. Here at 11:35, it's 39 degrees and partly cloudy in Beaver County. That's a look at the news for now. I'm Curtis Walsh on 99.3 FM, 95.7 FM, 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming live around the world at beavercountyradio.com.
Talk about what's happening in Beaver County or around the world on Teleforum, 724-843-1888, 724-774-1888. It's Teleforum with Eddy Crow.
And I am Frank Sparks, sitting here for Eddy Crow. Miss Valery McElvy is our guest host today here on Teleforum, and I hope you've enjoyed the show so far. We've been talking about aging gracefully, talking about the golden years, talking about society in general, and sharing memories of growing up, basically. Just having a good time and being lighthearted and keeping the politics out of it for us.
Yes.
So enough politics.
I volunteer and go out there often to senior center at the mall.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to go out there. You have to go out there at some point, either just to watch the seniors in motion or to get a feel for the older Americans. And I have such a good time. I watch them come in because I used to volunteer and help serve or participate in their programs. And to watch the ones that come in a hissy fit. They come in and with their frown on their face all balled up, but as soon as they hit the floor with their friends, it changes it's like, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed, but now I'm here. They said that some of them come as far as Clinton to come to the senior center just to socialize. Their friends, when COVID hit, and I was a part of their outside giving away the free food and coupons and pens and notepads, the first thing they would say, when can we come back in? Socialization is so important for
I heard that
seniors.
for a long time.
Yes, so important.
Well, I mean, when we were talking about it earlier, you know, one of the main things that a lot of seniors have that's a problem, and you were talking about check on your neighbors, you know, spend time with people, but loneliness.
Yes.
And, you know, that a lot of times that, believe it or not, affects your health because you're lonely and you have nothing. You might be in your apartment by yourself and you have nothing more to live for.
Yes.
And that's how you feel about it. Even though we know you do, you still feel like that. So that's why it's great to have programs, you know, like the center at the mall, just different places out there that have those types of things that you can get involved in. You know, you got Center at the Mall, you got Life Beaver County.
Yes.
I'm trying to think what else. But there's quite a few of different agencies that'll help you get out. And
they can pick you up.
And, pick you up, take you wherever you got to go. And that's part of it, is the psyche of it all.
I couldn't get my mom and dad to go. They were from old school, and they said, no, we're really not old. Yeah, Mommy, you are.
Yeah.
So, you know, get over it. I even took them up there to sign up, and they saw them as them, and they were they. But I see it much differently. Just eating together, exercising together, having fun. We played cheer volleyball, and I was dressed as a rabbit because it was Easter, and they take that game serious.
I was up there for the grand reopening when they put the cafe in.
Okay.
A couple months ago. Oh my.
Yes.
Oh, we kind of got in the way a little bit.
Yes.
And they were like, "Hey, dude,
excuse me."
Yeah. What's going? I was like, well,
that's
okay.
exactly. We did a one Christmas I was there, and we were in one of their offset rooms, and we were decorating. Wrapping presents.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a tendency to laugh loud. Do you know someone? They were playing bingo. Someone came in the room and said, "Excuse me, could you tone it down?"
No.
Oh my goodness.
No, you know, when people say that to me, you know, I look at them and say,
no, can't tone it down.
No.
But and they have bake sales. They have the pool. Oh, and the pool table area.
Oh, stay away from the sharks.
Stay away. Yes.
Yep.
And don't lean on the pool table. You know.
Oh, yeah.
When they play bingo, I've called bingo for them, and I was calling too slow. I mean, you had to be. There's a certain way you have to call.
You better. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But there's that is so important. The socialization.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And just eating together, whether you wanted that pork chop or not, just sitting there playing cards and eating. And then they have a grab and go lunch, so those who are shut in can still get a meal.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: being that you do so much with seniors and everything, how much recovery do we have from the pandemic because of this?
You know what? It's funny you should say that, because I've interviewed some people on the Spotlight on Senior show. There are, I don't want to start crying. See, I don't want to digress here.
I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
We're supposed to have fun.
There are some seniors still stuck there.
I'm sure.
They can't be. They can't.
No, we got to get out and help them. That's for sure.
They've got to realize we've got to move forward. And we were talking about that while we were on the commercial break. Change. You know, change is going to happen. You got to go with it. You got to move with it. You have to. Whether just give it a chance.
Think about our generations.
Yes.
You know, I mean, I know you're the end of the baby boomer, and I'm at what's the beginning of the X generation?
Y or
something,
yeah,
something like that. But just think about those generations. You know, we're the generation that was alive before there was internet.
Yes.
TV was just real. TV was new.
Yes.
You know, and there was no internet. You know, and as time grew, and we've had to adjust to it.
Yeah.
Which we have, but you know, there's a ton of seniors out there that haven't adjusted to that. And something as simple as having internet and maybe learning, and there's good and there's bad to internet.
Yeah.
And I say that like social media can be the evil of the world.
Yes.
And that's why, you know, but it also can help you.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like my parents used to like to go play the casinos. They used to go to casinos. So I showed them how to play casino games on Facebook.
Yeah.
They loved that. And I gave, you know, so when they were bored around the house, gave them something to do.
Yeah.
And I think my mom still plays them to this day, to be honest with you.
See, that's.
But the whole thing is you got to get out,
Yeah.
and you need somebody to help you get out, and whether it be, no matter what your limitations are, like you said, there's enough agencies out there that will help you get out.
Yes, and there's enough volunteers and people who have seniors in their heart.
Mm-hmm.
There are people out there, and we need to help them reach that goal of getting out. And the COVID, I mean, it doesn't look like COVID's going to go away. Doesn't look? I mean, we got a new one, a new name. What's it called?
I don't know. There's I saw the other day.
Yeah,
there's a new
start
one.
with
I
a
was
K.
like, yeah, okay.
But in the meantime, those who are able need to get out.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's walking around the block. I did a show with this new phone thing that you can learn how from the Office on Aging. You can learn how to use this electronic,
right.
And then you get to keep it, and they teach you how. I mean, there's no getting around it. We have to move forward.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree 100% with you.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just technology's technology, and maybe we could use that technology for good things.
Yeah.
A lot more. I mean, it'd be neat to see like somebody like the Office on Aging, even if they did like, if they could, I don't know how you'd go. I mean, I do know how you'd go about it. You could do it like through Zoom or Google Meets or something like that.
Yes.
But have where you go to their house, help them set up technology, teach them how to use it.
They do
then,
some of that.
Okay, then you could have like Google meetings. You could do like a morning exercise.
Right.
And they could feel like even though they can't get out of the house, maybe they could still feel a part of it and still have people they could talk to through having this social interaction through that.
The senior center did that. During COVID, they had their exercise teachers do Zoom. You were able to connect to that, so they were able to see it and exercise. I started this year, and I'm staying very faithful. What's today? The 11th. I'm doing chair yoga, and I do 20 to 30 minutes every day. And even that, being able to do that with somebody else, that goes well. In the YMCA in New Brighton, that alone, I used to go down there for a minute for Silver Sneakers.
Oh, yeah. I've heard to stay away from the volleyball down there. My dad used to play with them guys. They get like serious down there.
Get out of here.
Oh, yeah. Like serious stuff.
And I'd say the majority of those people that were there were seniors.
Yeah.
And just exercising, and we talked about that, keeping your body fit. We don't want you to be, remember Jack LaLanne?
Yes.
I mean, he was to the extreme. I
Right.
mean, he
Yeah,
was,
right.
Yeah. But so we don't need you to be that.
But even if you find a group of friends, like, I mean, and the guys, they all sit at the Speedway over in New Brighton every morning.
Yes.
And
remember Brookers? They used to sit
you
at Brookers.
Yeah. So now, they sit at the Speedway. They're there every morning,
Every morning.
I go in through, because I know them all,
Yeah.
I was always, hey, they call. My dad was Frank, so I was Frankie. Hey, Frankie, what are you doing? So I see them all the time, that whole group, that whole crew that sits over there. Now it's been dwindling, unfortunately, because some of the guys have been passing. But still, even if it's just a get together like that, I mean, people don't realize that even somebody younger gets together with those guys and have coffee every day or something. You still are keeping track of where they're at and what they're doing. And you can see the signs if there's something going wrong, if they're lonely or they're having a health issue that they don't want to deal with. And
that's how my dad had Parkinson's. And because my daughter-in-law is a doctor, I didn't know the signs. We were at a family function, and she pulled me aside and said, I don't know how your mother's going to feel about this, but I think Pap has Parkinson. So, but it was about someone else seeing it.
Right.
Recognizing the issue. We didn't recognize it.
Yeah.
So that is important.
You got to recognize loneliness.
Yes.
That's the one thing you've got to recognize.
Yes.
Sometimes that person might be a pain in your butt because they won't leave you alone, and they're talking to you, but that pain in the butt also is lonely, and you just don't realize that pain in the butt's lonely.
And in my phone and my contact list, I have people that I need to, instead of just recognize their number, I have them described as this person I need to hear, I need to listen to, I need to take time for.
That's a good way to do it.
And I love that because now I'm being attentive to, they really don't want my advice. They just want someone to listen to them.
Right. And that's a lot of times that will solve loneliness.
Right.
I mean, is just having somebody to talk to.
I as a rule, I have a small group of people in my day planner as borough manager says I should have everything in my phone. I don't. I have a day planner. I've it written down.
You got Mr. Technology.
Yes,
Mr. Technology
yes.
is the borough manager,
Yeah.
so, you know.
But I have people that I drop things off on their porch, so
Yeah.
they know it's from me. I don't even have to put my name. They know that Miss Val's been here.
Good.
And I have Rochester, Bridgewater, and New Brighton, just so they know that they were thought of. You know, just hanging on their door.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
People, you know, people like to feel appreciated.
Yes.
You know,
yeah.
and that's, you know, that's the big thing.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of times somebody is depressed because a spouse might have passed or something.
Right.
So now they're by themselves.
Or a holiday brings up the memories.
Yep.
You know.
And then they get depressed and they don't want to. They just want to lay in their little cocoon and do nothing for the whole holiday. But
and it's not good.
Yeah, you got to push them.
I just found out one of my dear volunteers. I didn't call her. She had just recently lost her husband about a year ago, and I didn't call her over Christmas because she has family. Here she was hurt during the holidays, and I could kick myself. I should have called and said, "Hey, I haven't seen you in a while."
Right.
You know?
Right. I understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then unfortunately, that's where society is today.
Yeah.
But you know, you brought up, and we talked about it a little bit off the air. This is the first time in history that the older population will outweigh the younger population. But the younger population shouldn't be that way because younger population's weeding themselves out.
They're doing it all by themselves.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, the evil of the world's helping them. You know, with the drug cartels and
right.
You know, and we just have so much controversy in society today, and you know, when it comes to huge problems with opioids and things like that, you know, it bothers me because they want to blame. Everybody wants to place blame on somebody.
Yes.
Instead of fixing the problem.
Right. Right.
So you know, you can place all the blame you want on these drug companies and whoever that produce these drugs, but in the end, you're still not solving the problem.
No.
We got to get out there and figure out what's solving the problem.
Yeah.
And you know, that's part of the gun violence.
Yes.
Guns aren't going to go away. You can try to regulate guns all you want.
They're not.
But and I don't know statistics, but if you look at the statistics, I'm going to bet that the majority of the guns that commit crimes are stolen guns.
They have said that is true.
Yeah, stolen or, you know, illegally acquired guns. And then you got to teach people responsibility. You know, you got that 6-year-old kid that went to school and shot the teacher. Why? Because the mom wasn't responsible. Now, she purchased a weapon legally.
Yes.
But she wasn't responsible.
Right.
And that's the whole thing you got to learn.
And then I can't even imagine a 6 years old. First of all, I've never touched a gun. I can't even imagine what that'd be like. A 6-year-old pulling the trigger?
Right. And knowing to pull the trigger.
To know.
Where did they learn that?
That was premeditated because his intention was to kill that teacher.
Right. Well, where did a 6-year-old learn something like that?
I wouldn't know. My youngest son had a BB gun, and that was one of the rules. And you know this as a parent. When you live in my house, everything's open for me to look at. You know, there's nothing hidden. So he had went to school, and I went in his bedroom to make the bed and get things straight, and saw the gun in his cupboard. I just knew that it was a gun. I mean, it was metal. It was silver.
Mm-hmm.
I called him and I said, "You know what? You better get your behind home because we got to talk about this gun." And he's laughing. What are we laughing for? It's just a BB gun.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
A BB gun.
Well, you should, no matter what the type of gun it is, because someone could still get hurt.
Yes.
Be responsible with it.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, that's a huge part.
Yes.
You can't stop theft. You're not going to stop illegal people you can say from Mexico or wherever you want, from bringing illegal weapons into the country. That's not going to stop until we stop the problem ourselves. That's kind of how I look at it.
At your house, at my house.
Yep.
You know, that's where it's got to be.
You know, and we need to get into some of these. I mean, a lot of these kids in these inner communities, they don't know any better.
No.
But we got to teach them better.
Yeah.
And again, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier today. Single family households, mom's working hard, not knowing what's going on when she's not working. So these kids get older, and you know when they get so old, then they can't go to daycare no more because they think, well, you can take care of yourself.
Right.
Well, yeah. Unfortunately, they're taking care of themselves, not in the right way.
Right.
So.
Well, then that brings the issue with the homeschooling, and when it was COVID, being on your computer at home, doing schoolwork.
Yep.
I'm not that focused.
Well,
I can't.
Well, I mean, a couple months ago it comes out that the test scores in Pennsylvania students were down due to COVID. Well, duh.
Let me see.
That-
What would be the reason for
Yeah,
that?
right.
Yeah.
Kids need to be in school.
Yeah.
You know, and that was the whole time, we discovered the mask. And I understand this is something that never possibly could happen. But I think
Right.
that we got a little too harsh and a little too, because here's the whole thing. Kids can't be in school. They got to be home learning. But if you watch sitting here on 7th Avenue, Beaver Falls, you're watching all the kids walking up and down the street with their
Right.
friends
What-
anyways.
What are they learning?
And they
You
didn't
know?
have a mask on.
No mask,
Right.
no computer in their hand.
Right.
They're not doing schoolwork.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're supposed to be in school.
Yeah. So what happens here? So, I mean, we have to take some responsibility.
Right. All right. Only got a couple minutes left.
All right.
Tell us about you. Tell us about what you do. Tell us about where at your service, and tell them how they can get a hold of you if they want to help or if they need help.
My phone number at the shop is 724-847-4400, and it goes right to my cell phone, so I don't miss any phone calls. I am always in need of donations. We're getting our flea market ready to open soon as spring comes, for real. We help everybody. Please call me if you know somebody has been in a fire or needs something. If I don't have it, I've got some volunteer donors who will, all I need to do is make a phone call. I need a toaster, and they'll go and buy a toaster. I had a phone call yesterday. They have 2 air conditioners. This is wintertime, but they want to give it because they know that I'm going to give it to somebody. I have a need to help people, and because of you all, on my way here to the radio station, I always drive by my shop, and someone left a big donation on the side of my building. I had to park the car and take the donation.
I wonder, because you're usually like, you're like, where's this foul at?
No, I had to pick up that donation. So people are kind. Beaver County, I can't thank Beaver County enough for who they are and to who we are. Mark Twain said, it's the epitome of life. The first half of it consists of the capacity to enjoy without the chance, and the last half consists of the chance without the capacity. Yes. Please call me. Please. If you don't know Miss Val, you must live somewhere out of the country.
I was going to say, you need to know her if you don't.
Yeah, you need to know me.
Yeah.
You need to know me.
Well, I hope you had fun today. I had fun, and it was a good time. And
I am on cloud 9.
we'll have to do it again.
Yes.
Maybe we need to throw Eddie on vacation more.
There you go. Thanks, Frank.
No problem. So you can listen to Miss Val every Sunday, Spotlight on Seniors. It starts at 11 a.m. here on Beaver County Radio. And it is coming up on the top of the hour here in a brief moment, but it is 39 degrees at 11:57 a.m. here in Beaver County. Expecting a little bit. Now they're calling for a little bit of showers later on today, but the high is going to be 48 degrees. And then overnight tonight, it's going to be a little cold, down to 39, not as cold as last night. Thursday, which is tomorrow, we're going to have rain showers, and then Friday, some snow showers. It's going to be 51 tomorrow, and Friday's going to be rather chilly, 37 for a high on Friday. So you're listening to Beaver County Radio, and we'll be back with more tomorrow. Start the morning out with Mike Romai and Live Mike here on Beaver County Radio, followed by Teleforum with guest host Jimmy Miller tomorrow. And Jimmy will have the representatives with Rapping with the Reps to start your day. And then from there, Jimmy has a guest coming on, and she's going to talk about photos she's taken throughout life. So it's going to be kind of a neat show. So tune in. Then the Best of Beaver County, Josh Kell is the guest of Mike Roma on the Best of Beaver County. And Notes on Entertainment with Scott Tatey, entertainment editor for the Beaver County Times, along with Jimmy Miller and Dina Miller, Jimmy's wife. They have a couple different bands they are in. They have some originals, and one of their originals they're going to talk about tomorrow as well. Don't forget high school basketball on Friday night. Elwood City travels to Beaver Falls. Mike Azadian and Bruce Fry will have coverage for you on that. Well, hope everybody has a great remainder of their day today. I will talk to you on Friday for the Time Machine here on Beaver County Radio. And 1968, the VW bus is off and running here on Beaver County Radio.
Falling in love is one thing. Having anxiety about falling is a whole different subject. If you or a family member are concerned about falling, and yes, either up or down the stairs, or maybe even out of bed, St. Barnabas has a special message and some ideas just for you. Years of experience in working with people who are prone to falls has given St. Barnabas special expertise in this area. Call them at 724-443-0700 and learn about ways that you can begin to feel more confident and safe, including suggestions that you can implement right now into your daily routine. Call St. Barnabas at 724-443-0700. For many years now, St. Barnabas has been helping people fall in love, that is, with their new, better life, a longer life, a risk-free life. Call St. Barnabas now at 724-443-0700 or visit St.
You're
Barnabas.
listening to 95.7 FM, 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, in addition to 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls and 1460 WMBA Ambridge.
We hope we're not delayed too long. So.
Right now, we're delayed for an hour.
2 people delayed at Newark Airport say they're trying to exercise patience. But the good news is the FAA has lifted a ground stop on flights across the U.S. following that computer outage that resulted in thousands of delays and hundreds of cancellations, quickly cascading through the system at airports nationwide. Julie Walker reports.
The FAA ordered all departing flights grounded early this morning, but lifted that order just before 9 a.m. However, delays and cancellations continue to snowball. More than 4,300 flights were delayed and more than 780 canceled. While the White House initially said that there is no evidence of a cyber attack, President Biden said, "We don't know," and called for an investigation. The FAA said its notice to air missions system went down and had to be restored. Julie Walker, New York.
Also at townhall.com, storm-ravaged California scrambling to clean up and repair the widespread damage as the lashing rain is easing. Forecasts call for thunderstorms today in the north and then another powerful weather front later this week. Crews working to reopen major highways that were closed by rock slides, swamped by flooding, or smothered with mud. More than 10,000 people who were ordered out of seaside towns on the Central Coast have been allowed to return home. Governor Gavin Newsom says at least 17 people have died in the series of storms. Stocks higher ahead of a highly anticipated inflation update and several big corporate earnings reports later this week. The Dow adding 91 points and the NASDAQ up 103. More at townhall.com.
We're entering a time of increasing hostility against people of faith, a time when Christians are going to be tested on a moral and physical and financial basis, unlike any other time in our lifetime. I'm Lance Wallnau, Christian author, evangelical leader, here to remind you that you have to take action to protect and steward what God has given you. For example, record high inflation is going to continue to eat away at the dollar, and the savings of your retirement account is in danger. Fortunately, God does provide a way. To protect your retirement, I recommend diversifying your 401k or IRA out of paper and into physical gold. And the best way to do that is with a gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. Now, to see how it works, just text the word faith to 989898. That'll give you access to a free info kit on gold IRAs. There are no strings attached, so text FAITH, F-A-I-T-H, to 989898 right now, and I pray your family is blessed with peace of mind because you took action.
Police are dragging climate activists away from an abandoned village in western Germany that is close to being destroyed by an expanding coal mine.
Some of the protesters have squatted in the abandoned village for more than a year. The energy firm RWE, which now owns Lützerath, intends to extend a vast lignite pit it operates nearby to get at the coal underneath the village. The activists reject RWE's assertion that Germany needs the lignite if it's to fulfill its energy requirements now that it can no longer rely on Russian fuel. Police officers have dragged some of the protesters out of the village, but other activists have taken to rooftops and makeshift tree houses. Their strategy to delay their eviction and what would appear to be Lützerath's inevitable fate for as long as possible.
BBC correspondent Jenny Hill. An explosion near the foreign ministry in the Afghan capital, Kabul, killing 5 and wounding several. No one has claimed responsibility, but the Islamic State has recently increased its assaults. Breaking news at townhall.com. A potential GOP presidential candidate has an unusual idea to help her constituents.
South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem called Tuesday for using the state's surplus to eliminate the tax charged on groceries and lower other taxes in her State of the State address. All eyes are on what lawmakers might do with the state's $423 million surplus. Noem said that shoppers are astonished when they arrive at the checkout line to pay for their groceries. She said it's so costly that she's watched many shoppers have to put items back on the shelves because they don't have enough money for the purchase. Noem called for repealing the state's 4.5% sales tax on groceries. Keith Peters reporting.
A South Korean solar panel maker will invest more than $2.5 billion in 2 Georgia factories. The Q-Cells unit of Hanwha Solutions will build a new 2,000-worker factory in Cartersville and hire 500 more workers for its factory in Dalton. More on these stories at townhall.com.
The ones that matter most are the children. There is a special place in South Dakota, a place of hope, love, safety, and opportunity for Native American children. This place is St. Joseph's Indian School. Here, we preserve traditions, provide Lakota kids a safe place to learn, attend to the mind, body, heart, and spirit of every child in our care.
As a father, I feel very good about leaving my kids here, and they have way more opportunities here.
I can come on campus and I can feel the good vibes, and the children, they can really grow.
Together, we are giving Lakota children brighter futures and a proud connection to their past. To learn more, go to helplakotakids.org today.
Live from everywhere USA, it's Fox Across America with Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, yes, it sure is. And we are coming to you live from the greatest country in the world, broadcasting from the tippy top of the world-famous Fox News headquarters in New York City. It is Fox Across America with Jimmy Fallon, a man who is not a shameless